Chapter 1. Descent to Power. A 4-year child is running from the streets. People throw anything at him, from stones to various weapons. He cried for days nonstop as he saw those piercing eyes staring at him, wanting him to vanish from his very existence. What did I do wrong? He thought. The young Naruto was crouched at the corner of a street, crying excessively. Hours passed. He successfully got into the orphanage where some kids would throw hateful glares at him, sometimes bullying him excessively. Only time will tell when it would stop. He always wondered why people treated him this way. He prayed that someday he would be saved by something or someone else, paving way for making this misery disappear in his life for eternity. Naruto slept that night with dried tears from his eyes. When morning came, some of the people in the orphanage would just ignore him, reluctantly giving him food. When he began to shove piece by piece into his mouth, other orphan children glared at him. Some bullies have gone near him and threw his food down, making him hungry for the rest of the day. In order to evade the bullies, he ran outside the orphanage and he managed to avoid them all. As he paced the streets, he saw those hateful glares again. Suddenly, an angry group of mobs have beaten him with their canes, not caring that the poor boy are bruised and wounded all over. A few hours passed. He was left lying on the street, too weak through walkover. With determination and strength, he managed to get up and ran, not knowing where to go. 2 years have passed. He was now in the academy. Why did the third agree to let this demon become a shinobi? A random parent of a child stated. Those hateful glares. I see it again, Naruto thought. He made his way into the academy and sat on one of the chairs. As he sat, he saw a raven-haired kid surrounded by several girls, shouting Sasuke-kun, Sasuke-kun. He was so annoyed by these antics that the raven-haired man decided to ignore them. A few minutes later, a teacher arrived, introducing himself. Welcome to the academy. My name is Irika Yumino, and I would be your instructor until you graduate. So, do your best and pass so that you may become a ninja. Now let us start. As Irika started the lessons, Naruto was bored until he drifted off into a sleep. He was woken up when an eraser was thrown onto his head, startling him up. How many times do I need to tell you that you listen to your lessons? Irika said angrily. Naruto then saw those glares that he remembered not so long ago. Reluctantly, he forced himself not to cry and just nodded on Irika's command. Days passed. He still hasn't made friends. Until one day, some kids named Choji, Shikamaru, and Kiba befriended him. Now, he was extremely happy that he made new friends. Yet, even with this type of improvement, his classmates would always call him a dope and even a failure. He was now known as a dead last. One academy student even managed to bump him on his shit intentionally in order to let Naruto know his place. Now, it's time for you to spar. Sasuke and Naruto, please come forward, Irika said. I'll surely beat you, Sasuke, he thought. Naruto threw a series of punches and kicks to Sasuke, yet he managed to dodge them. When Naruto kicked him, Sasuke disappeared into a poof of smoke, replaced by a wooden log. Little did he know that Sasuke was on his back, and before he knew it, Sasuke kicked him on his back. He fell to the ground, and he was defeated. That's for you, loser. You will never win against Sasuke-kun, a fangirl shouted. Naruto, your kicks and punches are not good. Sasuke's are the best, so I suggest that instead of playing pranks on other people, focus on your well-being first, Irika said flatly. Naruto slowly got up, and he saw Sasuke gaze at him with an incredibly cold eyes of hatred. Classes have been dismissed that day, and Naruto, determined to make new friends, joined the test of courage by other academy students. Yet he was easily beaten up into a bloody pulp. When he got home, he was surprised that there was the third waiting for him. So Naruto, how's your day? Have you been doing well in the academy? He asked. Naruto forced a grin and stated, well, of course, I've been doing well. What are you doing here, by the way? I was just checking you, and because your allowance is running out, I'm giving you allowance, albeit higher this time. Thank you so much, Gigi. The Sandame smiled, and he got out of the apartment as he said goodbyes with the hyperactive child. I'll make sure that the kid doesn't know who he was, he thought. Naruto was late in class, and Irika scolded him. As he made his way into his seat, he was tripped by a student. Why did you trip me? I didn't trip you. You were the one being stupid. Oh, you are not only stupid and clumsy, But you are also a worthless, dumb person, Shiro stated. Enough you two, Irika intervened. I have to admit it, but he's right. Now, get out of the classroom as I don't want to see that stupid face of yours. Naruto didn't have time to argue, and with that, he stormed out of the academy. Why do the people treat me this way? What did I do wrong? Irika-sensei too. His glare is the same as those people. I pull pranks in order for them to recognize me. I guess it wasn't enough. Even Gigi doesn't tell me who are my parents. I guess I'm really worthless at all. Naruto didn't go home that day. As he walked, those glares are there again. He cried and cried while walking. Night came, he still wandered the empty streets of Konoha. Oh, so there's the demon child, a group of men shouted. Upon hearing this, Naruto decided to run for his life, yet the men were too fast. He was punched and brutally kicked upon in his guts. One of them stabbed him. Naruto pleaded to stop, yet they weren't listening. As he was bleeding heavily, he pretended to be dead. As doing so, he felt those men left him. Weak though, he managed to get up and run. Not knowing where to go, he got out of the gates of Konoha and randomly went anywhere, just to get away with the very people who assaulted. Fear was now on his life, and he was left tired and lethargic. He was now far in Konoha. Bleeding heavily, he crawled and crawled. Desperately clinging to life, he continued to crawl towards a cliff. He saw silhouettes, and at first, he thought there were people, but he realized there weren't any. Thinking that he was safe, he continued. Tired and hungry, he crawled towards a nearby tree and sat down. I want to be strong. I want to be feared. I want to be powerful, he thought. He wanted to make the very people who made him suffer. But how could he do it if he doesn't have power? I will not die like this, he shouted. He forced himself to stand up and held onto the tree. Now, this tree he leaned on was extremely tall and huge. It was otherworldly, and the very presence of the tree is exceptionally overwhelming. With blurry vision, he looked up the tree and saw that it has a huge, glowing fruit. It fell down the ground and rolled near him. Naruto picked up the fruit and he eyed it. The fruit is glowing with a bright white light. The fruit is as big as an apple. Weak and hungry, he decided to eat it. He had bitten it out hungrily and proceeded to swallow all of it. He continued to eat until there was no more. Suddenly, he felt a strange sensation to his body. What is this? He thought. An overwhelming energy encompassed his very form. His blonde hair became extremely long. It had reached the ground. His whisker marks disappeared. His complexion became pale. He grew 2 horns on his head. His eyes became a pale lavender in color, and he grew a 3rd eye on his forehead. The 3rd eye has swirls, and it has 8 tomo in total. And lastly, instead of his tattered clothes and wounds, it was replaced with an extremely long, white kimono with several tomo on its rims, just like the one Kagaya wore. Underneath his kimono, he had a white hakama, and he wore shoes that are pointed on its tips. Naruto's head ached, and 1,000 years' worth of knowledge soured through his head. Armed with a slight omniscience, he declared, "Now's the time to make you suffer." He levitated and flew amongst the mysterious dark skies of the night. Chapter 2. Damned. Soaring high on the night skies, Naruto stopped and contemplated anything that has happened to him. He looked at his hands, and he saw his nails grew longer, and they turned black. He descended to the ground and walked by near a river. To his astonishment, his appearance is still human, but on a completely different one. He felt his overwhelming chakra leaking out from his body. And aside from that, whenever he walked, his extremely long hair would trail down the ground. A group of bandits saw him, and they attempted to attack him. Before they could attack him, out of instinct, Naruto's hair raised and began to stab them into pieces. Seeing this, the other bandits fled, but Naruto, grew accustomed to the deed he has done, decided to murder the remaining ones. I didn't expect that I would be this powerful. I still don't know what my real power is, so I'll just stay out of Konoha for a meantime. I don't want that old man to know that I'm more powerful than him now, he thought. Inspecting the bodies of the dead bandits, some of them were still alive, yet incredibly wounded. He touched the gravely injured ones, and a black mass enveloped them. Naruto felt all of the life force of the bandits transferred into him, thus energizing him. Then, the bodies turned to ash, and they were no more. Naruto laughed and laughed at the prospect of him being powerful. He then proclaimed, "Chakra is mine alone." A few days passed. The Umbu continued their search, yet there was no sign of Naruto anywhere. The third Hokage was incredibly worried that maybe someone has kidnapped Naruto and has extracted the Kyuubi out of his body. He sat on his office, scratching his head over the difficult situation. Then, he heard a knock on the door. "Come in." It was Iruka who entered. "I'm the reason why Naruto is lost." Hiruzen, upon hearing this, questioned him. "What do you mean you're the reason the kid is lost?" "I scolded upon being late and having a random student tripping him. I didn't even listen to Naruto, and I drove him out. I was so foolish." "How did you know that the student intentionally tripped him? Did you know?" "No. Shiro confessed it to me upon hearing that Naruto was lost." "I see," the third answered solemnly. "I'm giving you a mission. Find Naruto and bring him back here safe and sound." "Yes, sir," he replied. "Minato, Kushina, please forgive me. I pray that nothing has happened to your son. I will continuously blame myself if something happens to him." Naruto was flying again, and he decided to explore around a little bit. He learned that he could mask his chakra so that no one, even censor or not, could detect its presence. He returned to his original form, yet the third eye on his forehead still remained. That's why he has decided to wrap it up with a turban. It also diminished his ability to use powerful techniques, yet he could still fly and use some awesome ones. As he was flying, he saw a child being glared at by some monks. "So, I'm not alone, huh? Those glares, they give it to that kid, too," he thought. Masking his presence, he flew near the temple and listened to the shouts of monks to the poor kid. "Get away from here, you demonic brat. You're just like your father," a random monk shouted. Sora ran outside of the temple, and he sobbed continuously until he felt someone walking towards him. He turned his head and saw Naruto was staring at him. "Who are you?" "So, you're here to beat me too?" Sora asked. Naruto didn't answer. He could see hatred in the eyes of this kid, hatred of the people who scorned and threatened to kill him. "What?" Naruto smiled, and he's finally getting interested at this kid who is as the same age as him. Sora, threatened that maybe this kid would kill him, decided to throw some attacks at him. As he was about to attack, Naruto cut him up. "Don't. Unless, of course, you want me to kill you," he said calmly with an air of dominance. "What do you want?" Sora shouted. He then attempted to attack Naruto, only it to be thwarted by Naruto's answer. "I've already told you, and I don't like repeating myself." "I didn't do anything. Just leave me alone," he finally stated. "I know what true suffering is. Suffering is where you experience unpleasant things, being scorned at, and feeling that your very existence is an eyesore to anyone. Those glares that you have received is the same as the ones that I've received. But you, in that situation, wanted revenge, isn't it?" Naruto asked. "Who are you?" Sora asked suspiciously. Sora followed him, and they went out of the place. "You will question everything you know," Naruto stated. He then proceeded to transport Sora into an unknown dimension with him, and he revealed his true form. Sora felt an overwhelming amount of chakra radiating from this very person. "This is impossible. How did it?" He trailed off as Naruto returned to his original form and transported themselves outside the dimension. He walked with Sora silently, and Naruto wondered who this kid was. Night came. Naruto left Sora alone sleeping, and he decided to investigate what was going on this kid. He transformed into Sora and went inside the temple where Sora grew. Chapter 3: The Gathering. Naruto, as Sora, entered the temple. As he entered, one of the monks asked, "You little kid, where did you go?" "Enough, Hitsugaya," Chirika shouted. "Sora, I'm worried about you. Do not leave the temple next time, okay?" Naruto just nodded. As he paced his way, he saw the monks looking at him. He remembered the glares that the villagers of Konoha used to send him in their way. As everyone slept, he crept his way towards Chirika's room and searched for any documents as to why the boy was treated this way. As he was reading the documents, he saw that Sora's father was Kazuma, who once fought a man named Asuma from Konoha. They are a member of the 12 Guardian Ninja, and there were 2 kings in the Land of Fire. Naruto, upon knowing, decided to leave. He used Amanaka and quickly reappeared in Sora's location. He was then greeted by the sight of Sora yelling at him. Now, in his original form, Naruto didn't mind Sora's yells. He proceeded to touch the soil, and a memory of that place came into his mind. Sora, what was your father's name? Huh? What's this all of a sudden? Why are you asking? Answer me, Naruto snapped. Sora, afraid, decided to answer him. Kazuma. I now know why they hate you. You have something inside you as to what they call the Kyuubi's chakra, and it was sealed to you by your very own father in order for him to use you to whatever he wants. What the hell are you talking about? Sora said angrily. Your father did that in order to use you. And to be honest, your father is still alive by now, contrary to the belief that he was dead. How did you? Sora, I could see anyone's thoughts and feelings. This is my power. I could know the truth, Naruto said smirking. Why? Sora began to sob. It's only simple, Sora. In this world we live in, people will use you for their own gains, not minding what you feel at the moment. Be it a family member or some stranger, they don't care. I do not know who my parents are, but I have a feeling that the upper echelons of Konoha know of it. Well, to be honest, if my father was like that, I'd certainly never forgive him, he replied. I want to kill Kazuma, Sora said with hatred in his eyes. Do not rush things out, my friend. I think we should gather people who experience the same suffering such as ours. What's your plan? Naruto explained the plan perfectly, and Sora seemed to feel really excited by it. Now, what do you think? Naruto finally asked. Your plan is ambitious. I'd like to do that. I'm in. With that, Naruto and Sora flew the skies, thus executing the first part of their plan. Still no sign of Naruto, the third asked. No, I suspect that someone must be responsible for his disappearance, the Umbu replied. Danzo, the Sandaime thought. He immediately rushed to Danzo, and he was astonished as to why the third was here. What have you done to Naruto? Why are you asking me? There's no one I could suspect, but only you, Danzo. It is known that you recruit individuals for your own cause. Now tell me, where is he? Hiruzen said with anger in his voice. I have no idea where he is. Besides, it is your fault that you let that demon beat be lost under your watchful eye. It is better that's not here. At least, it's for the greater good of Konoha, Danzo replied. Danzo, Hokage-sama, stop. Maybe he truly doesn't know. Please don't start a fight, Hokage-sama, the Umbu said with a hint of fear in his voice. Danzo, if you have any involvement into the disappearance of Uzumaki Naruto, I'll not hesitate to have you executed, the third bluntly stated. Soon, he stormed out of the house to where Danzo was in. Considering that the demon brat has disappeared, who has taken him? Danzo secretly chuckled. Naruto and Sora were walking in the fog. We're now far in the land of fire. Where are we? Sora asked. If I'm not mistaken, this is Kiri. According to the memories of this place, a young child massacred his fellow academy students, as it is common in their culture that in order to graduate, you need to kill somebody, Naruto bluntly replied. Sora didn't answer. As soon as Sora were walking, they heard sounds, and they have decided to investigate. They saw ninjas fighting against the Kiri. Kiri won, and all of the bodies of the ninjas were left for dead. Sora then spotted a young boy. Curious, Sora ran towards the boy, with Naruto following behind. They stared at the boy, and the boy finally spoke. What are you looking at? We're looking for people to join our cause, Naruto replied. What happened here? Sora asked. Those dead people are from my clan. They live in order to fight, and they live by the thrill of it. They usually imprison me inside a cage, and only to release when they feel the urge that I should kill someone quickly, he stated. We saw your fight on the bushes. I'm sure your clan has taught you well, Naruto spoke. Guess so. Kimimaro, tell me, are you capable of a more ruthless killing? Hours passed. Sora was uncomfortable at the very presence of the man. So, what is it for me? Kimimaro asked. We don't need him. Everything was going fine. Naruto punched him. Do not mistake your place. My father always said, if you want more people to join, you must impress them, Kimimaro stated. As they walked, Naruto looked towards the moon, thinking that someone could be living there. Chapter 4, The Moon. Hey Naruto, you can't be serious. There could be no one living inside the moon, Sora exclaimed. Sora is right, there is no one. It would be impossible to do so, Kimimaro added. Naruto smirked. What if we go there? You can't be serious, Kimimaro stated. Kimimaro, you don't know me yet. Naruto used his space-time dojutsu in order to get to the moon. As soon as they got there, Kimimaro thought, he was just a kid just like me, yet he could do these things. It's as if he was a god. They walked towards the barren landscape, and in a distance, they saw a castle. The three sped, and as soon they got there, they were greeted the sight of a teenage-looking man. He was tall, yet he was blind. How did you get here? He asked. We were just curious because it is in our very nature, Naruto replied. I cannot see you, yet I know that you three are kids. Tell me, how did you get here? He asked. I brought them here, Naruto said. Naruto then unleashed his new form and his hair grew out again, reaching the ground. Kimimaro, upon seeing this, was overwhelmed by an overwhelming amount of chakra emanating from him. Tonari couldn't see it, but he could feel it. Oh, you're powerful. How did you get that power? Before I answer that, tell me, what's your name? Naruto asked. Otsutsuki Tonari. And you are? Uzumaki Naruto. They were welcomed into that place, and Tonari proceeded to tell the history of the Otsutsuki. They were also told of the celestial decree of Himura to the three, yet Naruto corrected him, stating that it wasn't Himura's intentions. Naruto showed the memory of the place to Tonari by implanting it into his mind, and Tonari soon came to realize that he was wrong all along. Naruto told him what's his past was, including the past of Sora and Kimimaro. He also explained what they're planning to do to Tonari. Upon hearing this, Tonari asked, So, you want me to join at your plan? That's basically yes. Given the circumstances, let me ask you something. Aren't you lonely here? Kimimaro asked. He didn't answer. The silence ensued for a moment, then Naruto finally spoke. We don't have families, nor parents or friends to take care of us. We suffered, and we have endured a lot of hardships in our life. How about you? Don't you feel the same way too? He then added, You are blind because of your eyes are removed since birth. Consider this as a gift from me. I will return your eyes in exchange, be a brother to us. Do you agree? Not only it would benefit you, but it would also benefit the four of us, as we would be families from now on. Fine then. I also hate this place. I've been here for so long and I decided to come along with you, as you are an interesting fellow. Now return my sight, Tonari said. Naruto returned his sight, and he had awakened the Tensegan in both of his eyes. As they left the moon, Naruto was so happy that at long last, there would be someone that he would call as a family. Days turned to weeks, and days turned to months. Naruto hasn't returned, and a lot of academy students wondered where he was. The Umbu has given up searching up for the demon brat, yet Hiruzen had his hopes that Naruto is still alive. Iruka also blamed himself for scolding Naruto that day, and he thinks he was the very reason why Naruto hasn't returned up until now. The villagers and some ninjas rejoiced that the demon brat is now gone, free from the nightmare that tormented them 6 years ago, while others became worried, especially the clan heads, that if Naruto were to fall on some ninjas who would exploit his powers, particularly rival countries, would eventually make way to conquer the world. Meanwhile, in the academy, while Iruka was giving a lecture, a random academy student asked, Where is Naruto? He didn't answer. Instead, he changed the subject and said, You should not ask about those things in class. You should focus more on your studies and be a great ninja rather than worry about someone else, Iruka replied. The student just nodded silently and continued to listen to Iruka's lectures. Naruto, what have I done? I should just have given you a chance to explain, he thought. Meanwhile, piles of reports concerning about missing civilians not only from Konoha, but from random villages continued to spread panic. Civilians would eventually disappear without a trace. As while they were walking, Naruto would just chuckle about the news. So, what do we now? Kimimaro broke the silence. Sora wanted his revenge. Let's give him that, Tonari replied. Kazuma and his faction would be somewhere here in the Land of Fire. Sora, since Tonari has trained you in some of the techniques he knows, I suggest that you should not work alone. I hate slow things. I want to finish anything quickly, and with that, even though the four of us are strong, We must use minimal chakra and finish those foolish humans quickly. After all, teamwork makes anything fast, doesn't it? Naruto smirked. Umph, I agree with you, but I must be the one to finish him at all, Sora said. Well then, this is the plan. Naruto began to explain the plan on how they would assault Kazuma and his faction. As he finished explaining the plan, he said, "Remember the plan, exactly as discussed. Not a foot out of place." Kazuma, but now Furito, is walking the forest together with his gang. As they were walking, Fuka broke the silence. Master Furito, there are a lot of reports concerning civilians going missing. Who do you think is the one behind this? It's none of our concern. Our concern is Sora. Once he grows up, I would let him destroy Konoha so that the Fire Daimyo shall be the ruler and not the Hokage, he laughed. As they were walking, they saw a child in a distance crying surrounded by dead bodies. As they approached the child, Fuin asked the child, "Kid, what happened here?" The kid looked back at her, but the kid seemed scared, covered his eyes. "Do not be afraid. We're not here to harm you," Furito said calmly. While they continued to ask the kid some questions, they were watched intently by Sora, unknowingly been under by his illusions. Once he prepared to attack, Furito sensed there was someone hidden, and when they looked back at the kid disappeared together with the corpses. All of a sudden, Sora attacked. Wind release, wind bullets. The force separated and Furito said, "Earth release, dome of stone." He put both of his hands into the ground, and then a rock appeared protecting him. Fuin, using earth release, hiding in rock technique, attempted to attack. She was thwarted by bone projectiles by Kimimaro, deliberately killing her when some of the stones pierced her heart, giving her no choice to attack. "How dare you?" Fuka screamed. Earth release, rock pillar spears. The attack reached Sora, and he fell down the ground. When Fudo attempted to attack Kimimaro, a lava erupted above the ground to where Fudo was standing, burning him alive. Fuka, however, were pinned onto the ground by Tonari by using his truth-seeking balls, to which he shaped into rods. Two were dead, and Fuka barely alive, couldn't even move a muscle. She was therefore forced to watch the entire scenario. Kazuma, recognizing Sora, asked, "Who are you?" pretending that he do not know his own son. As Sora stood up, he answered, "Well, father, I do not fall prey easily to your lies." With that, he channeled chakra into the air, and all of a sudden, without weaving any hand seals, the wind blew the corpses of Fuin and Fudo, and the trees also blew. After the wind dissipated, he levitated going towards the sky, where the sky above him darkened, revealing lots of lightning. "Sora, how did you get this strong?" Furito asked. He was also shocked that Sora knew that he was still alive, and even that he was still a child. His chakra was Jonin level. Chapter 5, Return. Sora levitated towards the skies, and above him, lightning bolts seemed to gather above his head. Sora raised his hand and pointed it towards Kazuma, to which a bolt of lightning from the sky struck at Kazuma. He managed to evade the attack, and then Sora raised both of his hands towards the dark sky, to which multiple lightning bolts rained down towards the ground. This is impossible. How could he use such high-level techniques without using hand seals? Not even the Kyuubi's chakra is present, he thought. "So, you're challenging me. Well, then, I won't go easy on you. I will use some of my strongest techniques. Wind release, Shikujo Twister." A large wind formed into a tornado and hit Sora, but Sora did not move nor did anything. Instead, the attack was hit him full force, yet he wasn't hurt. Kazuma's eyes widened with surprise as his attack were of no effect to his son. Then Sora managed countered back. Sora closed his left hand into a fist, and then leaves from nearby trees gathered towards him, to which he raised his hand, and then the leaves were ultimately frozen. He then sent the frozen leaves as projectiles to Kazuma, to which Kazuma was unable to dodge nor evade. Sora, out of chakra, dropped into the ground, to which the darkened skies returned to their original form. Seeing this, Kazuma seized the opportunity to attack Sora, but he was stopped by Kimimaro, to which the latter shot him with a bone projectile. As soon Kazuma dropped, still alive, yet immobilized, Tonari helped Sora stood up, and he walked near Kazuma. Tonari and Kimimaro take hold of Kazuma's arms, and Tonari put his foot on Kazuma's back to force him to face Sora. "Sora, how did you this?" Kazuma asked. "Master Furito," Fuka screamed. Sora didn't answer. Instead, he wore a black glove and he put it near Kazuma's face. Soon, a black mass enveloped Furito's face and he screamed, where his chakra was being taken out by his very own son. As Kazuma's chakra transfers to the black mass going to Sora's body, Sora felt energized and he was surrounded by orbs of chakra as he continues to do so. When Kazuma finally closed his eyes, his body turned to ash. The glove on Sora's arm vanished and all of the chakra he gathered towards Kazuma's body enveloped him. "Happy now?" Tonari asked. "Yes. As to what they say, revenge is sweet," he chuckled. "By the way, why did you spare that woman?" Sora then pointed towards Fuka. "What are you planning to do?" she asked in a fearful voice. "We may need this woman to achieve Naruto's plan." "Where is he, by the way?" Tonari said. Soon, Naruto appeared from nowhere and said, "This woman is strong, and we will recruit her to join our cause." He then soon freed her using his power, and when she was freed, she attempted to attack him yet was thwarted by Naruto's gaze, sending her to fly back. He explained what his ambitions and his plans to Fuka, and upon hearing it, Fuka trembled in fear. "You are quite useful, Fuka. Our plan will be beneficial for the both of us." Naruto then extended his hand, and a fire appeared burning the ground to which Fuka was standing. "Or one of us." Naruto grinned. Then he added, "So, which will it be?" Fuka just looked at him and decided to follow him to avoid being killed. Several hours later. "So, you're planning to return to Konoha?" Sora asked. "I do. This is the best time to show them who is the best. But I won't show my true colors yet. I'll be acting as a child, deliberately manipulating them that I was still the same as before," he said. "Hope you don't mind when I ask this, but I'm wondering why you're so keen on your goal," Fuka asked. "I will return to Konoha not for the sake of others, but for myself. All I want is to give others the pain of humiliation and betrayal that I've suffered. Well, I shall not reveal what I am now. Being an actor is not that an easy job, but so far, I've known the cunning human nature of trickery and lying. That's why I'm going to exploit it. But for now, when I'm away, continue kidnap those civilians. Bring corpses, too, especially ninjas that are recently killed so that they are still fresh." "Bringing corpses is not part of the plan," Kimimaro intercepted. "Corpses will be essential to our plan. I will tell you someday as to when I should use them, but we should seek a hideout to where we could preserve the corpses. Then store them in one of your dimensions," Sora suggested. "Opening and closing the dimensions is an easy task, but I don't want to waste chakra. Besides, if I were to finish anything quickly, the world will know me. That's why I'll discreetly work in the shadows to avoid being caught. But if I were to be caught, then I shall show them what true despair is," Naruto laughed. "I'm going now. Be careful, and before I forget, look for corpses that are good-looking. And also, do not call me Naruto. When I'm with you, call me Otsutsuki Byakuya." Naruto now stood in the front gates of Konoha. It was early morning when he left the hideout, and he immediately went to the academy. As soon as he entered, he was greeted by the shocked faces of his classmates, and even Irika himself. "Naruto, where have you gone? It's been 3 months, and you haven't returned. What happened to you?" Irika asked worriedly. "I was hiding. I've been hiding here in Konoha for a meantime, so you aren't going to see me. I've decided to never go into the academy again, but now I've realized that being a shinobi is important so that you could save people's lives," Naruto replied calmly. "We're going to the third," he said. "Third Hokage's office. Don't you know how much you've caused an uproar? Don't you know that you've worried me? I've sent several ninjas to track you, but they did not find you. I've almost thought you were dead," Hiruzen scolded. "I'll not do it again," Naruto replied with a hint of a sad voice. As Naruto exited the Hokage office, he smirked. Things are going well according to the plan. Chapter 6, Facade. Naruto, despite being different, having gained slight omniscient knowledge and unrivaled power, still continued to disguise himself as some idiotic ninja who would pull pranks and disrupt classes in order for him to know who really hates him. After all, this was a part of the plan. Tonari and Kimimaro would often come to his apartment secretly to discuss their grave robberies and the kidnapping of some civilians. Everyone in the village, even outside, would often warn each other to not stay late each night because those who stay late would vanish mysteriously without a trace. Not only this is happening in Konoha, but it happens in some villages situated in the Land of Fire. So far, no one knows what happened to him due to his 3-month absence. He now wears a turban over his head daily to hide the third eye that has grown into it. When alone, he would unravel the cloth and would look closely to his Rinne Sharingan, studying its nature and training proficiently in its use despite in his human form as Naruto. He modified several techniques he read in books without using hand seals because according to his reason, hand seals are a waste of time and it is a common way of casting jutsus at the enemy. Due to consuming the fruit of the Shinju, he managed to have excellent chakra control that he doesn't need to use hand seals in order to execute some jutsus. It became his hobby to return to the abandoned village to train where he had eaten the fruit of the Shinju as one of his pastimes. One day, when classes in the academy were dismissed, as usual, having no family, Naruto would be left alone. Wanting to train, he went to the abandoned village and, as usual, would train for hours until he would perfect everything. Even his subordinates do not know of this place, as he wanted to keep this a secret from them. Night came. Naruto finished training, and before he could return to Konoha, he glanced up the tree once more and said, "I shall preserve you. Even though you're not a sentient being, you were the reason why I gained this unrivaled power." As he was about to leave, he noticed that the tree was glowing and there was another fruit, a single one dangling on its branches. Impossible. How could this tree bring forth another fruit? I ate the first one already, Naruto spoke. Naruto, curious upon this situation, he raised both of his hands and the fruit fell down, catching it. Naruto inspected the fruit. From what I know, even though the memory seems faint, I recall that a woman consumed a fruit like this before. However, it didn't happen in this village. It happened on a village that is extremely far from any shinobi countries, to which it was forgotten throughout history. This tree was here already before the very tree that grew in that village. I gained the memories of this tree when I ate its fruit. It's impossible that this one would produce another one because I ate the first one. Unless chakra would gather in this very tree, and it would be the reason that this tree would bear another fruit. However, it bore one. How could this happen? What will happen to me if I ate this glowing fruit? Curious at the situation and wanting more power for himself, he swallowed the whole fruit. As soon as he swallowed it, an extremely overwhelming chakra went through his body, more overwhelming than the previous one. He was forced out to his original form. His blonde hair, already extremely long, turned lavender white. His third eye gained a set of 12 tomos and his outfit from the white kimono became a dark shade of purple, with patterns of dragon golden designs on his chest, and gold belt adorning around his waist. He gained golden tomo-shaped earrings. His hakama became a dark shade of black with numerous gold designs on its rims. His pointed boots became glass, clanking in noise when he walks, and the sleeves and rims of his extremely long kimono were all black in color with numerous gold designed tomos adorning it. He also grew taller, and he gained extremely delicate facial features. His eyebrows became short, a sign of ancient nobility, and he sported pronounced canines. Naruto, fearful that someone might feel his chakra, used Amenominaka to transport himself into one of his dimensions. As he looked into the mirror, he saw that he looked completely different. Soon, he came to realize that the tree itself continues to bear fruit because it absorbs nature energy in its surroundings. Realizing this fact, Naruto laughed and laughed maniacally and thought, "It would be easier to manipulate those fools, given my power." He then soon returned to his Naruto form, but instead, his Naruto form also changed. Though the Rinne Sharingan still remains, he gained an exceptionally strong chakra, even he suppressed all of them. His hair, though returning to blonde, became long, reaching up to his back. Naruto, thinking that someone may get suspicious of his hair growing long, decided to wrap his whole head into a turban so that no one would know. He exited his desert dimension, returning back to his apartment in Konoha. Returning back to his room, he was greeted by the sight of Sora sitting on his sofa. "Where have you gone?" he asked. Just training, Naruto replied. And oh, what happened to your hair? Why did it grow extremely long? Did you do something again? Well, I would guess I would keep it a secret for now, Naruto chuckled. Sora, annoyed of this, just sighed. Why are you here, by the way? Tonari and Kimimaro were gathering civilians in remote places, whereas Fuka would rob graveyards of recently dead ninjas. Corpses would pile up in our hideout. I don't understand you. What do you really want to do with them? So, you came here to ask me that, Naruto said with a hint of amused expression on his face. No, not at all. To be honest, I was here because I have a favor to ask you. I would like to live here in your apartment. What? Naruto exclaimed. Why is that? Maybe those monks from the fire temple would want to find me, and even Chiriku himself. After all, I have the Kyuubi's chakra inside my body. That's what they're after. Oh, an easy problem with an easy task. Don't worry, Sora. I rearranged their memories using my Rinne Sharingan. I made them believe that you committed suicide so that no one would find you anymore. Since when did you do that? Naruto crossed his arms and opened the fridge, pouring some of fresh milk into his mouth. After that, he spoke. Remember the day we met? When you were asleep, I transformed into you and gathered information about your origins. While the monks were sleeping, I rearranged their memories, believing that you were already dead. Upon hearing this, Sora let out a sigh of relief. So, no one would find me anymore. Well, thanks for that. I am forever indebted to you. It's a normal thing to do, especially if you're family, Naruto replied, smiling. Family? Sora asked, dumbfounded. I consider you, Tonari, and Kimimaro as my family. However, I don't trust Fuka yet. As for now, I could count her as our subordinate. From now on, we form the Otsutsuki clan, and your name shall be Otsutsuki Sora. That includes Kimimaro as well. If I feel that I already trust Fuka, then I shall give the title of an Otsutsuki to her, and she would be a part of our clan, Naruto explained. Upon hearing it, Sora smiled. He bid farewell to Naruto before returning to their hideout. I won't let anyone harm you, even a single strand of your hair. I shall protect my family, no matter what happens, Naruto vowed. Chapter 7. Burning Hatred. Several years later, Naruto was keeping with his facade of an idiotic child and a dead last. He was running the streets of Konoha with some ninjas chasing him because he painted the stone faces of the Hokages in the monument. When some ninjas were running, they haven't seen him because he covered himself up with a cloth that he managed to camouflage himself up. Upon releasing the cloth, he was seen by Iruka. Iruka-sensei, what are you doing here? He was dragged by Iruka going to the academy. A few moments later, Naruto was tied up in front of his classmates, and Iruka scolded him. Instead of skipping classes and doing some of your pranks, pay attention to your well-being. You have failed your tests and your last test. He then added, all of you, even to those who passed, should do the transformation jutsu. Naruto was standing with Shikamaru and Ino on his side. It's your fault, Naruto, that we're doing this again, Ino exclaimed. Not only you were a dead last, but your blue turban and an orange jumpsuit makes it look worse. How troublesome, Shikamaru muttered. Like I care, he said loudly. Then in his mind, don't worry, I'll show you the right time when I could show my abilities. You're nothing but pests in my life. Haruno Sakura, please step forward, Iruka said. Transform. Sakura has transformed into Iruka, and then she returned to normal. Well done, Iruka complimented. Did you see that, Sasuke-kun? Sakura said shyly, whilst the inner Sakura shouted. Yes, he has seen my abilities. Next, Uchiha Sasuke. While the girls were screaming, Sasuke transformed into Iruka, and then he returned to his form. He was then complimented by Iruka. Uzumaki Naruto, next. Do your best, Naruto-kun, Hinata thought. Transform. Naruto has transformed into a nude woman, and Iruka, seeing this, was blasted out with his nose bleeding. Naruto transformed back, and he was laughing. I call it the sexy jutsu. Idiot. Don't make stupid jutsus such as that. Hours later, he cleaned the Hokage stone monuments with Iruka waiting for him to finish. You're not going home until you finish all of that, he said. TSK, I don't care how many hours would I finish this thing. No one's waiting for me at home anyway. Naruto replied. Iruka stared at him, and he remembered that he, too, grew up to be an orphan, with no one's waiting for him nor loving him. Hey Naruto. Naruto looked up and replied with an annoyed face. What? What if you finished all these? I will treat you to the Ichiraku ramen stand. Naruto eyed him, and he replied, No thanks. Iruka, shocked upon hearing this, asked, Why? It's none of your concern. I'd rather sleep at home. I'm in no mood for ramen today. Iruka was surprised that for the first time, Naruto declined ramen. Iruka-sensei, could you just leave for now? Everything will be finished if you're not here. I'm bothered by your very presence here, he said bluntly. Iruka was at loss of words. He didn't know what to say to Naruto, as Naruto himself grew colder and his tone of speaking changed. He nodded and reluctantly left. As soon as he left, Naruto used his powers to take off the mess he has made. And then, Fuka appeared. Byakuya-sama, I've gathered 10 civilians in total. Would you do your usual routine? Naruto smirked at her and replied, Of course, why would I abandon that? Naruto followed Fuka out of the village, and all 10 Konoha civilian citizens were tied up. The demon brat, one of the citizens muttered. I don't know why you call me such thing, but remember, the day you die today will be the day my hunger be satisfied, he smirked. Naruto turned his hands into a mysterious black mass, and all of the 10 civilians were screaming. Their life forces were sucked. As Naruto was finished sucking their life forces, all of their bodies turned to ash. Satisfied? Fuka asked. A little bit. By the way, do not kidnap Konoha civilians for a meantime, even outside the village. We've kidnapped a lot of civilians for several years, and I would like to stop for a while. The third is getting more and more vigilant. I recommend that we temporarily stop. I would not risk getting a member of an Otsutsuki be caught and tortured, he replied. Then, would you devour ramen even it disgusts you? It's my former favorite food. Even my hunger would be quenched. Chakra is much more delicious. Civilians and ninjas have chakras in their bodies, except the civilians do not know how to use it. For now, I'll subsist on that stupid Ichiraku for a meantime. Fuka grinned. Well then, my lord, I should leave. Naruto nodded and went back to his apartment. The next day, today, you shall do your test, the clone technique. It's a requirement for graduation, Iruka stated. I heard that it was Naruto's greatest weakness, Kiba muttered. Yeah, a random academy student replied. As students were lining up for the test, Naruto waited and waited. Each of the students was successful, and he was tired of waiting in line. Naruto, you're next, Mizuki said. Naruto walked towards them, and he didn't do any hand signs. Instead, a clone of his appeared beside him. Naruto, what did you do? Mizuki asked dumbfoundedly. I developed a way where I could execute the clone technique without using hand seals. They are a waste of time, he replied. Iruka saw Naruto's change of demeanor, and he forced a smile. Naruto, you passed. Here's your forehead protector. He received it and immediately walked outside of the school. Iruka has gone to the third, and he talked with him that Naruto suddenly changed his attitude from yesterday. Is there any reason for the sudden change? The third asked. I don't know. I guess I should talk with him about it, Iruka replied. Night came. Naruto went outside of the village, going back to the abandoned village to check if the SHINJU has bore another fruit. He discovered that the SHINJU produces fruit every 3 months, and he has done everything to protect it, placing jujutsus into it to prevent anyone from accessing it. As he was thinking about these things, he saw Mizuki running. Naruto, Mizuki asked. Mizuki-sensei, what are you doing here? Before Mizuki could reply, Iruka suddenly appeared. Mizuki, return the forbidden scroll already. No, I wouldn't. This scroll would make me more powerful, he laughed. And oh, by the way, if you continue to chase me, I will reveal the truth to this child, he said. Truth? Naruto asked. What truth? Mizuki, no, Iruka shouted. 12 years ago, a monster fox appeared in the village. It continued to ravage anything and kill innocent civilians. That monster fox was you, Naruto. Don't tell me. The QB was sealed into me, Naruto thought. I thought another person. Do you know why those people glared angrily at you? Because they hate you. A worthless person such as yourself should die. Iruka hates you too. You're the reason why his parents were killed. Naruto, do not listen to him. I don't hate you, Iruka said with tears on his eyes. The Kyuubi is the one that ravaged the village, not me. The one who destroyed your lives is the Kyuubi, not me. The one who should suffer is you, not me. Naruto's eyes turned into Sharingan, and instead of a matured Sharingan with 3 tomo, his has 8. Naruto screamed and his hair unraveled from the turban, entangling Mizuki and killing him. Iruka saw the whole event with a surprised expression on his face. Not only he saw Naruto demonstrated a new technique, but his eyes were different, too. And what he saw next made him cringe. Naruto has a third eye on his forehead. Naruto glared at him and said, "You will not remember this event. I will rearrange your memories, so stay still." With that, Naruto stabbed Iruka with a Fuma shuriken on his back and implanted false memories into him, believing that Iruka protected him from the attack of Mizuki, and that Naruto defeated Mizuki with the multi-shadow clone technique he learned from the Forbidden Scroll when he managed to get it. Next, he made Iruka fall unconscious, and when he saw ninjas going towards them, he wrapped the turban around his head once more and turned his eyes back to normal, and he cried uncontrollably. "What happened here?" one of the ninjas asked. Iruka-sensei protected me from Mizuki-sensei's attack, he stammered. "Mizuki, he's dead," the other one said. "I killed him," Naruto said. "It's payment for what he did to Iruka-sensei," he shouted. Iruka woke up and smiled to Naruto, unaware that his memories were altered by his beloved student. Chapter 8. Gradual Change. Mizuki was dead, and Iruka woke up on the hospital with the third Hokage on his side. He wasn't aware that his student altered his memories so that he wouldn't let the Hokage know what he had seen the night Naruto killed Mizuki. "So that's it?" the third Hokage asked. "Yes, Naruto now knows the truth. I've even told him that I do not hate him, but when I saw him earlier this morning, it seems he's changed," he replied. "Speaking of which, where is he by the way?" Tonari single-handedly stopped the war concerning the Jello Stone. He had killed Hato and took Temujin under him, as per Byakuya's orders or Naruto's. To prevent information leaking about the legend of the Jello Stone, Naruto took the book and burned it, leaving memorized information in his head, how to use it, how to properly draw its power. Seeing the Jello vein, he absorbed all of its power. He ordered Temujin to create a space-time hole using his blood to absorb some of the Jello remnants so that no one would know of its existence. "I do not know how to thank you for making me aware of the truth that Hato is the one who killed my parents. I couldn't thank you enough," Temujin spoke to Naruto. "Then, in exchange, would you be willing to be a member of our clan?" Naruto asked. "I shall serve you with my life. From now on, my unwavering loyalty towards you knows no bounds." "Very well. I'll give you your first mission. Given that you have the Jello Stone inside of you, I've heard that Hashigakure has a special meteorite that gives off special chakra to anyone who takes hold of it. I've been given intel by Fuka and Sora surrounding the conspiracies in that village, including a particular individual named Samaru. I want you to befriend that man and make him a member of the Otsutsuki clan." "Understood." "Yes, Byakuya-sama," Temujin replied. "I'll be going back to Konoha. Tonari, take Temujin to Hoshi. I want the mission to be successful without failure." "You can always count me on that," Tonari replied, smirking. Naruto returned to his apartment in Konoha using his Yamatsu Hirasaka. He was now ready to take a photo of his ninja registration. As he was finished, he gave them off to the third Hokage, and then he asked, "Where's your forehead protector?" "I've decided not to wear them for now. I want them to be as good as new when I would wear it in the day of the explanatory," he explained. "Very well." As Naruto was about to leave, a young child attempted to attack the third Hokage, only to stumble down the floor. Problems just keep showing up, the Sandaime thought. "Konohamaru-kun," Ebisu said as he entered the room. "You did something, didn't you?" Konohamaru asked, pointing his finger towards Naruto. "Do not blame me for some things I haven't done. It's your clumsiness that made you drop off the floor," he replied. The Sandaime's eyes widened with surprise as Naruto's words were blunt and a little harsh. He thought that maybe it has something to do with Mizuki telling him the truth. So, the demon brat is here, Ebisu thought. Those eyes, again and again. I will teach you a lesson one day, Naruto thought. Don't you know that this child is the grandson of the Hokage? Don't you dare belittle the child, Ebisu exclaimed. Naruto stared at the boy, and the boy thought, so, he was the same as the others. So now, you know the truth, won't you hit me? Konohamaru challenged. He didn't expect what happened next. Naruto slapped him. Like I care, he shouted. Then, he stormed out of the room. Konohamaru-kun, Ebisu exclaimed. That kid. Konohamaru-kun, do not go near that kid. He's a bad influence on your part. As I said, the greatest path to being Hokage is to listen to me. When he turned around, Konohamaru wasn't there. Konohamaru-kun. It appears that he went off to follow Naruto, the third said. Waha adat. That was the 20th ambush as of now. I hope Naruto won't teach him anything stupid, he thought. As Naruto was walking the streets, he sensed that someone is following him. When he turned his back, he saw Konohamaru covering himself with a cloth. I know you're following me, and your disguises are entirely poor. Speak, what do you want? Haha, you are indeed different. I don't mind becoming your follower. Forgive me, but I don't have time for stupid kids like you. Boss, please, I want to be Hokage sooner. I bet you have awesome techniques underneath your sleeve. I want you to teach me those. Hokage? Don't be ridiculous. Do you know what it means to be Hokage? Being Hokage is boring. You don't have the fun to roam around whenever you want. Besides, it's a boring position. Plus, those who become Hokage are always killed by people. Now, do you understand? Naruto said in an air of dominance. Why yes, Konohamaru stammered. Now, go back and do not follow me, or else I will punish you, Naruto said smirking. Feeling fear, Konohamaru ran off and Naruto was now alone. You may come out now. Master, I've got the information. Spare no time. Speak everything fast, Purple Zetsu. You are the son of the fourth Hokage. His name is Namikaze Minato, and your mother is the descendant of the Uzumaki clan, Uzumaki Kushina. She was the previous container of the Nine Tails, and the first container is Uzumaki Mito, wife of the first Hokage. I have copied all the forbidden jutsus in the Scroll of Seals, and you may access them later. Do you know anything what transpired about the Uchiha clan massacre? Naruto asked. Uchiha Itachi killed his entire family, sparing only his little brother for the purpose that Sasuke would kill him later, and that he would be revered as a hero of Konoha. Itachi was ordered by the upper echelons of the Konoha Council because it would be a reason to stop the coup d'etat of the Uchiha clan, aspiring to overthrow the Hokage and take control of the village by unleashing the Kyuubi inside you. Because Fugaku himself was confident that he could control the Kyuubi using his Mangekyo, he added. Thanks for the information, Purple Zetsu. Now, you must spy on other ninjas as well. Give me valuable information about their strength and weaknesses. As you wish, my lord. Flashback. Mizuki was dead and Naruto has altered Iruka's memories, making him safe. He hypnotized the Jonins who took Iruka to leave him alone in the forest, and they did as he ordered. As they disappeared, he ejected a purple substance from his mouth, and it formed into purple humanoid shape with red eyes glowing. My name is Zetsu, my lord, it said. I'll just call you Purple Zetsu for now. One day, you would be human just like them, Naruto answered. Chapter 9, Removed. Naruto went home that night. He hadn't heard from Temujin and Sora for a while. He learned that Kimimaro is infiltrating Orochimaru's hideouts in Otogakure, and he managed to give some samples of Hashirama's cells to Naruto. Naruto even ordered him to stay out of the mission for a meantime, as the risk would prove too great if he were to be discovered by Orochimaru. He ordered Kimimaro to aid Sora and Temujin to Hoshi, where they would retrieve the meteorite and give it to him. He wanted the mission to finish quickly, as much as possible, so that he would have more power inside him for his own benefit. He went to his room, and he stared at his reflection in the mirror, and noted that it's the right time to break off his facade. During the explanatory day, everyone shall be surprised of his new appearance and attitude. Day of the explanatory. Naruto discarded off his orange jumpsuit. Instead, he now wore a black turban, covering his entire head. Not a single hair strand could be seen, and black robes with a sash wrapped around on his waist, just like the one Tonari Otsutsuki wore in the movie when he marries Hinata. He went into the academy. As soon he entered the classroom, everyone looked at him, as if he's trying to catch the attention of anyone else. As he sat down on his seat beside Sasuke, Shikamaru greeted him. I've never expected that you will be able to graduate, and it's quite surprising you're not noisy today. Did something happen? Naruto didn't answer nor stared at him. Instead, he pulled off a book and began to read. Shikamaru eyed him and said, if you don't want to answer, that's fine. Anyway, today's troublesome, as usual. When Shikamaru disappeared from his sight, Naruto stopped reading. He gazed at Sasuke and began to think. I sense you have an incredible amount of chakra inside you, Uchiha Sasuke. Destined to fight against your very own brother. Who will win? You or Itachi? He chuckled. What are you looking at? Sasuke broke the silence. Naruto just smirked and averted his gaze. Meanwhile, Ino and Sakura are pushing themselves who would enter first. As the both of them entered, they began to argue on each other. With Ino speaking, she was the first, and Sakura arguing that her toe entered first. Annoyed by each other, they just decided to enter anyway. As Sakura saw Naruto, complete with a change of outfit, she said, Naruto, do you have plans of impressing some girls here? He didn't answer. Instead, he stood up and bumped Sakura on her shoulder. Hey, don't turn your back on someone who's talking to you, she exclaimed. As she was about to hit him with her fist on his head, Naruto spoke. Don't. Unless, of course, you want me to fight you. He then faced Sakura with a serious look on his face. Sakura was surprised by the way Naruto speaks, but dismissed it as his way of acting cool. Little did she know that this was the real Naruto. The facade of an old Naruto has already faded away. Several minutes later. Team 7, Uchiha Sasuke, Haruno Sakura, Uzumaki Naruto, Iruka spoke. As Iruka was speaking about the other things, Naruto was busy thinking about the situation in Hashigakure. He hasn't heard reports from his subordinates concerning about the meteorite. This is going to be harder, he thought. As Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura now in a room, waiting for their sensei, he was also thinking of Fuka's whereabouts. She has gathered over 227 fresh corpses, and they have been kept in their hideout in Yuzushio, situated in the land of the whirlpools. He smirked that the time is near to use those corpses. He has also faith with Purple Zetsu to gather DNA samples of the dead Pakura and Izuna Uchiha, as he knows he would succeed without fail. 3 hours passed. A silver-haired Jonin arrived. The three looked at him with an annoyed expression on their faces. Took you so long, Naruto muttered. He looked at his new students and said, My first thoughts on you three, you're a little depressing. Naruto didn't falter from his statement nor flinched. I'm your Jonin sensei. Meet me on the roof and we'll get started. He soon disappeared in a cloud of smoke. The three left and went to the roof. Sasuke and Sakura noted to themselves that Naruto was entirely quiet. He didn't seem to speak, even at them, speaking only when something's important. As they were sitting on the ground, Kakashi suddenly appeared. Now, I need an introduction, he spoke. Sensei, what kind of introduction shall we speak? Sakura asked. You know, just the usual stuff. Things you like, things you hate, dreams for the future, hobbies. Things like that. Naruto looked at him impassively and said, Why don't you introduce yourself first? Me? I'm Kakashi Hitaki. Things I like and things I hate. I don't feel like telling you that. Dreams for the future. Never really though about it. As for hobbies, I have lots of hobbies. Well, that's it. All we got is your name, Sakura said irritated. Now that I've introduced myself, why don't you start off, the one with the turban? I want the others to introduce themselves first, and I should be the last. Why? As to what they always say, I'm a dead last, and a dead last needs to be the last and not be the first. So to start things first, introduce those who were always the first. Kakashi was surprised at his words. He decided to shrug them off for now. All right, because you don't want to introduce yourself, let's start off with you, Pinky. Well, I'm Haruno Sakura. She threw up a glance at Sasuke. I like syrup-coated anko dumplings. I don't really dislike anything. My dreams. I never really thought about it beyond. Well, she threw another look at Sasuke and softly giggled to herself. And the things I hate, Naruto. Girls these days are more interested in love than to be a ninja, Kakashi thought. I've known it since from the very beginning. You hate me. But again, you're nothing but a wimp, Naruto thought. You're next. The name's Uchiha Sasuke. I don't have many likes. I dislike things that should not even exist that do. My dreams, well, I don't really have a dream, more like an ambition. I'm going to kill a certain man. Just as I thought, Kakashi thought. And now, because you claim to be a dead last, and you wanted to be the last, well then introduce yourself. What I like is not like itself, but an ambition. An ambition involves getting recognized by people, ambition that brings peace to the whole world, and an ambition that I shall not tell. What I dislike is people hating others for no reason, because they do not understand the pain and suffering one has gone through. As for my hobbies, it involves around me, and it is not for you to know. My hobbies are rather personal, Naruto stated. Sakura and Sasuke looked at Naruto that the sudden change of attitude is genuine, and it seems there's something wrong with him. And your name? I've already introduced myself. You haven't told me your name. You already know my name. After all, you're the student of my father, correct? Kakashi's widened by surprise by the blonde's words. Naruto's father, Sasuke thought. What do you know? Kakashi asked seriously. I've known that he died 12 years ago, and it was his own fault. He's also the reason why your teammates have died, because he's always away during your missions. He's also the reason why I grew up like this. That's why I hate him with all my heart and soul. I wish he wasn't my father. Too bad my mother's also an idiot, letting her own son be used as a container for something very huge. Had my father put that huge thing back inside her, then she should be alive by now and not dead. Parents are huge idiots. Everyone who heard Naruto's statements were surprised by what he said. Changing the topic, Kakashi said, "Meet me at the training ground, tomorrow morning, 3 a.m. All right, you two, you may leave. Except for you, Turban." As the two left, Kakashi spoke with Naruto. How did you know of these things? It's none of your concern, Kakashi, Naruto smirked. If you won't tell, the third shall know about this. You will not tell the Sandaime about this? Naruto said angrily. Naruto activated his Sharingan and altered Kakashi's memories. As he was in a daze, Naruto spoke. Your last memory was that I left with Sakura and Sasuke, and I introduced my name as Uzumaki Naruto perfectly, and my ambition is to be Hokage, and I like ramen and dislike vegetables. Now do as I say. Read your Ika and go to the women's bathhouse and peep. My command will be embedded in your heart as if it was really your intention to do so. Naruto smirked. As soon as he said those words, Kakashi left, unaware that he was hypnotized by Naruto himself. Chapter 10, Dojutsu. He still hasn't heard about Sora and Temujin yet, concerning the meteorite in Hashigakure. He was now worried and he opted to go there. Because he doesn't know the location, he was forced to use the flight technique and change his appearance so that no one would recognize him. He opted for the face of the young version of the third Hokage himself. He flew across the skies and asked several people on his way where Hashigakure is. Soon as he found the village, he used his chakra sensing technique to sense his subordinates, yet he couldn't sense them. Flying across the village, he saw Sora and Temujin fighting against Akahoshi. Mysterious peacock method, dragon. Akahoshi attacked Temujin and Temujin blocked it using his jello powers. Meanwhile, Sora was hit by the attack and fell down to the ground unconscious. Sora, Sora, Temujin shouted. Meanwhile, Sumeru was unconscious in the ensuing chaos, as the chakra of the meteorite damaged his physical health. Temujin was about to use his jello powers to heal Sumeru and Sora, yet he was intercepted by Akahoshi himself. Kid, I know you want the meteorite for yourself, but do not expect that you will get it from me, he laughed. It's not for me. It's for the clan head. And the meteorite is essential to our plan, Temujin shouted slash. And what plan is it? He asked curiously. It's not for you to know, a mysterious voice said. Temujin turned on his back and he saw someone, a brown-haired man changing his appearance into Naruto. Byakuya-sama, Temujin muttered. Pay for what you've done to my subordinates, Naruto muttered. His eyes changed into Mangekyo Sharingan, and his Mangekyo is shaped into a dark circle with a red snowflake inside it. You're an Uchiha? Akahoshi asked nervously. Do not compare me to those bunches of ignorant fools, and it's not important to know who I am. Amaterasu. A scorch of black flames enveloped Akahoshi, and he was toasted to death, his screams echoing into the air. Next, the meteorite shot out of Akahoshi's body and went into the hand of Naruto. Naruto could feel the enormous chakra radiating from the meteorite. Temujin, heal Sora and Sumeru. Following Naruto's orders, he healed the two, yet they haven't woken up. So, the meteorite's chakra is indeed dangerous. Not only dangerous, but entirely strong. Temujin, I want you to bring Sora and Sumeru to our hideout. Let them rest for a while, as I will be absorbing this chakra for myself. With that, Temujin nodded and he used his Jello powers to get away from Hashigakure. Meanwhile, Purple Zetsu appeared out of nowhere when Naruto was absorbing the meteorite's powers. Have you covered anything up? You shouldn't worry, my lord. Everything from the existence of Akahoshi to the very existence of the third Hashikage was altered up. I've also altered the memories of the citizens, believing that Akahoshi died due to an illness and the meteorite has been destroyed because of overusage. Very well, Purple Zetsu. You're reliable as always, Naruto said smirking. As Naruto finished absorbing the chakra of the meteorite, it exploded. With the powers of the Shinju, the Jello, and the meteorite, they shall fear Otsutsuki Byakuya, he grinned. Young master, before you leave, do you have any orders? Oh, speaking of which, I want you to track one of the legendary Sannin, Tsunade. And also, I want you to investigate the family roots of the Senju. We might as well find some interesting DNA samples that are not known by people in this world, he spoke. Or perhaps, other dead Senju asides from Hashirama and Tobirama, he added, smirking at Zetsu. As you wish. Then Purple Zetsu disappeared. Naruto flew going to the Shinju near the cliff with the abandoned village to check if the tree has bore another fruit. As soon as he got there, he smiled. He reminisced about the moments that for the past 6 years, he would go to the village and eat the fruit it produced at the end of every 3 months. Each time he eats the fruit, the amount of chakra he possesses increases, yet his overall form did not change. As he neared the tree, he saw that it produced another fruit, but this time there's something strange about it. He wondered why the color of the fruit has changed. The fruit has become golden in color. Deciding not to eat the fruit for a moment, he decided to explore the abandoned village, as he hasn't explored them before. The village itself was in ruins, and there were castles that were still in its original state, yet one could tell that the castles were already old because vines have grown over its walls. Naruto explored, and he entered one of the castles. Curious for the history of the place, he searched for some documents, and he saw a room where ancient records of the place were stored. Land of the Dead. The tree has been here for at least 3,000 years. We were also surprised when there was another one that grew in the land of ancestors 100 years ago. The tree is not new, and we began to call this place the Land of the Dead because anyone who would dare come here would die under mysterious circumstances, Naruto read. What is this? Naruto began to search for several documents until he saw something that made him grin. It's forbidden to eat the fruit, as it would bring death to anyone else. However, I disagree from that very idea. I believe that when someone eats the fruit, one would gain powers that would make them conquer the world. One day, when I came near the tree, its fruit fell down, but I decided not to eat it. I just kept the fruit for myself and put it inside a box. After a day, I've noticed the fruit has withered and it became ash. I came near the tree once again, but distanced a little bit, afraid that I would die. I began to survey the tree on a daily basis, but nothing has changed. 3 months have passed. I came back, and I was surprised that it bore another fruit. When I came back the next day, it was totally gone. Soon, I've discovered that the tree produces fruit at the end of every 3 months, and it prompted me to study more of it. Yesterday, there was a fruit hanging on its branches, and I took the time to survey the area. I was surprised when I found a secret passage, and I saw that the tree has a pulsating object. I don't know what the purpose of the pulsating object is, but I've concluded one thing. Anyone who eats the fruit would gain unrivaled power. Yet if the fruit weren't to be eaten on the day it blooms, the next day it disappears. Quite the information, huh? I've known the fruit harbors fruit every 3 months, but I didn't expect that it would be recorded here. Plus, additional information, Naruto muttered. Gathering some of the documents, Naruto flew back to the tree and searched for the secret passage. It took him no time to search it, and then he saw the secret passage. He entered it and saw that the surroundings were surrounded with a purplish light, and he heard beating inside the tree. He searched for it and saw that the pulsating object that the document talks about is the heart of the tree. He touched the heart, and he was thrown back by a mysterious force. "What is this? This power is much more powerful compared to the one I have," he muttered. Naruto soon realized that the heart of the tree absorbs nature energy from the surroundings, and the reason that a lot of people from foreign lands die is that because the heart absorbs their life forces. He then reread some of the documents, finding some info, and saw one that made him more eager to learn more about the tree itself. The tree would not absorb the nature energy or life forces of humans when it has fruit on the last day of every 3rd month. Thus, one is safe to come if the tree has a fruit. He scanned some passages, and he found one interesting piece. Legends say that when the tree bears a golden fruit, stay away immediately, as the tree would blast you into oblivion. Oh, they made it exaggerating, huh? Suddenly, the heart glowed, and it began entangling Naruto, absorbing the chakra he has. "Is this tree sentient or something?" he asked aloud. The heart gathered the chakra inside Naruto, yet he managed to escape its clutches. Naruto was left weakened, and he felt the chakra inside him disappearing. He couldn't fight the tree itself, that's why he went out immediately. As soon as he got out, the roots grew out everywhere and tried to capture him, desperately advancing to continue suck his chakra. "I have no match for this tree," he muttered. Then a thought came into his mind. He wanted to devour the golden fruit. "Lots of my chakra has been taken by this tree, and because the tree has taken it, I've decided to eat its golden fruit. I don't care whether I die or not. I would risk everything for power," he exclaimed. Before the roots could entangle him, he used Yamatsu Hirasaka and aimed for the fruit. He was intercepted by several branches, and he dodged them all. He used his newly acquired Mangekyo Sharingan and used Amaterasu to burn down its branches and roots. As his way was cleared out, he quickly used Yamatsu Hirasaka and grabbed the fruit. Eating all of the glowing golden fruit, he felt the absorbed chakra returning to him. Not only his absorbed chakra returning, but it tripled in amount. Aside from that, he was surprised that the tree exploded and the tree's heart was left pulsating in its place. Coming near the heart, he tried picking it up, only for it turned into a bright purplish energy ball and entered his body. Naruto felt himself more powerful than before. His true form with the lavender-white hair became silver with streaks of purple and white. His horns became golden in color. His clothes now consisted of black and golden robes adorned with silver dragon-like designs on the ends. Underneath his robes, he wore loose black pants emblazoned with several intricate white abstract lines, and his glass boots became obsidian. His eyes became a light shade of purple with golden specks in it. Instinctively, his eyes turned into inhuman in appearance, having a pentagram as an iris with several intricate designs on it, and a heavenly body that looks like the moon as his pupil as a new dojutsu. Chapter 11. Discovery. Naruto did not go home that night. Instead, he spent the rest of the night in one of his dimensions, his favorite, the ice dimension, where he would gaze at the snow-filled mountains and enjoy the snow itself. Not only he would enjoy the snow, but he's free to roam around the dimension in his true form. He decided to continue study his newfound powers, to which it included his Jellystone powers, the meteorite's powers, and lately the destroyed Shinju. He cut off his own arms, and then it regrew back into place. Happy with this quick regeneration process, he thought to himself that he was entirely immortal. Going inside his palace, he looked at the mirror and into his reflection. Looking at himself, he swore revenge on those who have wronged him and his comrades. Activating his new dojutsu, he looked closely and he noted that his eyes are extremely different from the other dojutsus because its appearance is alien. Deciding to discover its real powers, he tried it, where there appeared a glyph similar to the look of his dojutsu, and a creature has been summoned. Now morning, instead of following Kakashi's orders not to eat breakfast, he ate one huge meal. A meal consisted of the life forces of random civilians he picked up in Konoha, enveloping all of them into his black mass as their bodies crumbled to ash. Naruto burped and said, "I'm extremely full. Feels so good." As news by Purple Zetsu to him, lots of Umbu were investigating the disappearances of various civilians under orders from the Hokage. They haven't even found a clue as to whom or what causes them to vanish. Not a single corpse could be seen, and civilians in Konoha fear for their lives that maybe they're the ones next. That's the reason why the Hokage implemented a law a few years back never to roam at night. Even the number of missing civilians was gradually decreasing. Hiruzen remained vigilant, and Naruto smirked at the gesture of this, as he was the reason why some civilians in Konoha vanished, not only in Konoha, but in other villages in the Land of Fire as well. He hasn't kidnapped civilians outside of the Land of Fire, but he would gladly do so if he was in the mood for it. After all, some civilians in Konoha would be his food, because they're the reason of his suffering, and even though he eats those civilians, he would still go to Ichiraku ramen stand to eat. He was now in the training grounds, and he saw Sasuke and Sakura coming off from different directions. As soon as they were gathered, Naruto thought that Kakashi would be late, and according to some intel given by Purple Zetsu to him, Kakashi is always late by almost 3 hours. "Oh my, he told us to get early, yet he was late," Sakura exclaimed. "Right, Sasuke-kun?" "Humph. And have you heard of the news? He was peeping in the women's bathhouse yesterday, which caused him to be reprimanded by the Hokage himself. I didn't expect those things would be his hobbies. He's a pervert," she said in an annoyed tone. Naruto forced not to laugh, as it was his own fault why Kakashi did those things. After all, he hypnotized him to peep on women. Knowing that he would be late, Naruto decided to storm off on his own. "Naruto, where are you going?" Sakura asked. "Somewhere down the road," he said impassively. Sasuke glared at Naruto suspiciously. Ever since they've graduated in the academy, Naruto's overall attitude has changed. He was not that loud and boisterous ninja anymore. Instead, he was cold or sometimes difficult to read at. Did something happen? He thought. As Naruto walked, now far from the training grounds, he has learned the powers of his dojutsu. He was extremely excited to give them a try. Flashback. Deciding to discover its real powers, he tried it, where there appeared a glyph similar to the look of his dojutsu, and a creature has been summoned. "Who are you?" the creature asked. "Those eyes, forgive my ignorance, my lord." "What are you?" Naruto asked. "A celestial spirit, and my name is Leo. Your eyes are called the Sarigan, obtained when one has eaten the golden fruit of that particular species of the SHINJU." "Particular species of the SHINJU?" Naruto asked curiously. "A particular species wherein several seeds of the SHINJU fused into one and it grew on a particular place. A common SHINJU produces fruit every 1,000 years, but this species produces one every 3 months. It's because not only it absorbs the nature energy of this world, but also the nature energy that comes from the sun, moon, and stars, and from the outer space itself. That's why it bears fruit so fast," he explained. "Then why does the fruit dissolve when it is not eaten on the day it blooms?" "The fruit contains much power that it dissolves when not eaten the day after yesterday. However, the golden one was much more powerful. Anyone who has eaten it dies immediately, but in your case, you're the only one successful." "The only one?" Mysterious people tried to find this particular species of the SHINJU in various realms, and when they've succeeded, they would stay on the planet until it dies. However, a particular person tried eating the golden fruit of that SHINJU, and he ended up dying, forcing him to pass his acquired powers to his descendants. It's rare to find someone who's successful. Those who were successful would have the ability to summon us from the spirit's realm. I presume that your strong will of acquiring much power lead you into this. Naruto grinned. "Well, there's this pulsating object inside the tree. It came inside my body after I've eaten the golden fruit." Leo's eyes widened with surprise. "What? Something wrong?" "It only means one thing. As I've said earlier, Your desire of power was extremely great that the Shinju surrendered into you and made you use its powers, thus making you the keeper of its power. I see. So the Shinju was alive after all, he smirked. Yes. Then, I'll use its powers to reach my greatest ambition. Leo just looked at Naruto laughing as he disappeared, dismissed by Naruto as he gained the knowledge on how to use the Sharingan. Naruto couldn't help but smirked at this. Bored, he meditated for 3 hours, absorbing nature energy from his surroundings, or in his terms, eating. 3 hours have passed. He decided to go back to the training grounds. Kakashi was already there, and he asked, "Where have you gone?" "Just sleeping. By the way, I've heard rumors that you're notoriously late when it comes to meetings. Besides, I've also heard that one of your hobbies is to peep on women." Kakashi paled at Naruto's statement, whereas the 2 other ninjas chuckled. "That's right. You're indeed a pervert," Sakura exclaimed. "Back to the topic, what shall we do now?" Sasuke asked. Kakashi takes out an alarm clock and puts it on a nearby stump. Then he takes out 2 silver bells. "All you need to do is get these 2 bells for me. Do that, and you'll be officially a Genin," he said. "But sensei, there are only 2 bells," Sakura replied. Kakashi nodded and Sakura and Sasuke's faces showed duress, whereas Naruto began to smirk at the statement. Kakashi then notices Naruto smirking at the perspective of the test. He could see that Naruto's planning something. "All right, the alarm clock is set to noon. You have time until then to get the bell. The test starts when I say go." Kakashi waits for a moment and says, "Go." As Kakashi speaks these words, he was thinking of today's missing civilians. The mysterious person has attacked once again. After a year of silence, the attacks have again started. Who kidnaps the civilians? What is his motive? He thought. Chapter 12, it begins. Sasuke and Sakura were now hiding. Sasuke behind a tree, while Sakura was under a bush. Naruto was walking in the forest, and when he sensed no one else is watching, he used Yamatsu Hirasaka and transported himself into his ice dimension. As he was within the palace of his dimension, he walked closely to the mirror, and it showed that Kakashi was looking to where Sakura and Sasuke were hiding, including him. "Too bad he doesn't know I have numerous dimensions at my disposal," Naruto smirked. Naruto observed the ensuing test, and Kakashi saw Sakura. Kakashi casted a Jinjutsu at Sakura with a wounded Sasuke coming to her, and that made her to pass out. "I wouldn't expect that she passed out for such a simple Jinjutsu. She needs improvement," Kakashi muttered. Sasuke heard Sakura's scream, and he muttered, "Damn, one taken down. I must get the bells," he said. As he saw Kakashi reading Iko, he attacked him with a series of shuriken, to which Kakashi managed to evade. "Too bad I can't read now," he said smiling. Sasuke was right in front of him and attacked him. Fire release, great fireball technique. Sasuke blew a fire towards Kakashi, to which he was hit, only for it to be turned into a wooden log. A substitution? Where is he? Sasuke wondered. Earth release, hiding like a mole technique. A hand grabbed Sasuke's ankle, and he was pushed under the ground with his head poking up. "You may know ninjutsu, but it doesn't mean you could defeat me with something as simple as that," Kakashi said. He then soon disappeared in a poof of smoke. As Sasuke was trapped underground, Sakura, having woken up from the Jinjutsu, saw Sasuke, and she screamed once again and passed out. Sasuke sighed with this and wondered, where did that idiot go? Meanwhile, in the ice dimension, Naruto was laughing and laughing, getting his teammates being whipped by Kakashi. Deciding to take matters in his hands, exited the dimension. Kakashi was walking, wanting to find Naruto, yet he couldn't find him. A flurry of kunai was thrown into him, to which he evaded, and Naruto showed himself. "You're good at hiding, Naruto," Kakashi complimented. "Shall we dance?" Naruto asked. Kakashi's eyes widened in surprise as he heard Naruto spoke those words. Seeing the reaction on his sensei's face, he smirked and muttered, "Sharingan." His eyes changed, the surprise within Kakashi doubled, seeing Naruto having a dojutsu. Minato-sensei doesn't have a dojutsu, or Kushina-san. Where did he get this one? He thought. Sharingan, released the gate of the bull, Taurus. A glyph appeared where a half-bull, half-humanoid beast was standing. He was wielding a giant axe, and his upper torso is a bull filled with brown fur, and his lower torso consists of a humanoid leg with torn pants. Taurus, attack him. When Taurus swung his axe into the ground split open, prompting Kakashi to jump. Such enormous strength. Naruto, tell me, how did you awaken this dojutsu? What was that? Sakura exclaimed. Sakura and Sasuke got up and followed the direction of the noise. As they followed it, they were astounded by a humanoid bull fighting Kakashi, and they've seen Naruto just standing while their Jonin sensei fights the bull. What kind of creature was that? Sakura said surprised. Naruto, Sasuke said shocked. Sasuke, what is it? Sasuke pointed towards Naruto, and Sakura was also surprised that Naruto has a strange-looking dojutsu in his eyes. As Taurus and Kakashi were exchanging blows, Naruto stood there watching impassively. Naruto, what kind of dojutsu is this? Is this the ability of your eyes? Kakashi asked. Yes. Then, I think I must get a little serious as well. Kakashi did some hand seals and said, Water release, water dragon. An enormous water shaped up like a dragon went up the ground and flowed towards Naruto. Naruto smirked with this. You used water to attack me. Then, I shall use one that specializes with water. Serigan, release the gate of the water-bearer, Aquarius. A barefooted woman wearing a skimpy tube dress made of seaweed appeared. It shows off her huge bosoms, long legs with blue anklets, and her bare back. Her hair and eyes were as blue as the sea. The woman has blue shells adorning her head, and she has blue necklaces that were made of corals. She had bracelets made of gold, and she carries a blue urn. You summoned me to fight this weakling? Aquarius chuckled. Naruto just stared at her with impassive gaze. Well then, even though I hate being ordered, I would do as much as you say. The others have their eyes widened with surprise as there was another summon, this time a human, especially Kakashi. What is this? Kakashi spoke. The woman's extremely beautiful, having huge bosoms and her skimpy dress clutching tightly at her sexy figure. Aquarius absorbed the technique with her urn, and she released the technique double the amount to Kakashi. How was that? Aquarius said smirking. Taurus and Aquarius, dismiss. Then the two summons disappeared. Kakashi dodged the attack with his earth release, earth-style wall. The attack was blocked, and then the water dissipated. Naruto, you're interesting, Kakashi thought. Before Kakashi would do some hand seals, Naruto muttered. Serigan, release the gate of the lion, Leo. A young man dressed in furry yellow clothing appeared. His eyes were yellow with slits and have brown spiky hair similar to a lion. Light release, solar beam, Naruto ordered. As you wish, Leo replied. He then lit the whole surroundings, almost blinding everyone. Then Naruto used Yamatsu Hirasaka, where he slid his hand going to Kakashi's pocket, taking up the bells. Leo dismiss. Soon, Leo disappeared. You failed. It's almost time already. You know. Kakashi trailed when he was interrupted by Naruto. Kakashi-sensei, I've won, he said smirking. He then showed the two bells. Naruto, how did you do it? Kakashi asked. He heard Sasuke and Sakura walking towards him, looking at him with a shocked expression on their faces. Naruto didn't answer. Instead, he smiled in a haughty manner. Which one is going back in the academy? Kakashi asked. Before Sakura and Sasuke could ask about the summons, Naruto looked at them with his Sharingan activated and altering their memories, making them believe that Naruto defeated Kakashi with the multi-shadow clone technique. Naruto got the bells. Why go back? Sakura asked. What is the purpose of this test? Teamwork, Naruto spoke. It is in this matter that we should work together. However, the two of them hates me because they think I'm a dead last. Well, that's the truth, but I'm a capable ninja, one should say, a late bloomer perhaps. Kakashi looked at him and said, well then, you all pass. That's thanks to Naruto. However, I'll consider it. I hope you three would get along as much, and I don't like you fighting all along. He then motions the three to follow him, and they soon arrived at the memorial stone. This memorial holds the names of ninja who have died in the line of duty to protect this village. The names of my best friends are on here, as are the names of our fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, sons, and daughters. It is a reminder of their sacrifice to this village," he spoke. He then turned to his students. "Individual strength would only get you so far. You will one day fight a superior opponent, and teamwork would be needed to defeat that opponent. Every mission we go on can end in your death. If you don't work together to protect one another, then your name will end up on this monument as well." He takes a deep breath as his eyes go back to the monument once more. "Those who abandon the mission are trash, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash," he added. "You three are the first ever to pass the test." The other two smiled, whereas Naruto frowned. "Tomorrow, we'll meet at the Hokage Tower for our first mission and see if we can get some training in there. Now, who's up for lunch?" Soon, the stomachs of Sasuke and Sakura were growling except for Naruto. "I'll pass," Naruto said. As the two ate their lunch, Kakashi and Naruto went somewhere to talk privately. "Naruto, how did you gain that dojutsu? And what is its name?" "Before I'll tell you, I have a present." "A present?" "Yes," answered Naruto, smirking. Naruto's eyes changed into Sharingan, and before Kakashi knew it, he was under Naruto's hypnosis. "The knowledge of yours that I have a dojutsu will vanish. I defeated you with the multi-shadow clone technique, thus getting the bells. Now, go and peep in the women's bathhouse again." Kakashi soon left, unaware that he was under Naruto's hypnosis again. Chapter 13, Vanish. Flashback. Creating purple Zetsu after learning from the dead Mizuki that the Kyuubi was sealed inside him, he decided to enter his mindscape. "So the jailer has come to meet his prisoner," he growled. "So, you're the reason why some villagers have been accusing me of destroying their homes. It's none of your concern. And what is this power? How did you gain this?" he asked. "Oh, I thought you knew, considering you've been inside me for so long." "Anyway, I'm not telling you, Kurama," Naruto replied, grinning devilishly. "TSK, how did you know my name?" "Reading minds, perhaps? I doubt." "Don't be so arrogant, you fool. Come here, and I shall rip you to pieces." Naruto simply smirked, and Kurama was surprised that he was in a place with lava and erupting volcanoes. "Brat, what did you do?" "I've simply transported you into one of my dimensions. You're free now, however." Naruto trailed off when Kurama attempted to attack him, only for Naruto to entangle him with a black mass, thereby absorbing his chakra. Kurama suddenly felt tired and lethargic. He was shocked to see that his body changed into a human and his original form was gone. "What did you do?" he growled angrily. He then used his power to chain Kurama and exited the dimension, leaving the screaming former Bijou behind. "So you intend me to cooperate with your plan?" Kurama said angrily. Naruto was now in his lava dimension, smirking at the once Bijou chained. "Be thankful that I made you into human, Kurama. After all, I intend to free you into the wilderness, same as the wild fox itself. If you truly want to be free, then you shall be my subordinate." "Return me to my true form," he demanded. "Why would I? Returning you to your true form would amass panic among the citizens. Besides, I've absorbed some of your chakra. Be thankful enough that I even left you alive. You're just a scattered piece of chakra, and if people were to discover you roaming around in your true form, that would be a ruin to my plan," Naruto replied. "You?" Kurama gritted his teeth. Kurama's form consists of an orange-haired youth with fierce, bloody red eyes with slits. He has pronounced canines, and he has eye bags. As I've said earlier, if you cooperate and agree to be my subordinate, I shall free you. I won't, and I will never obey a human like you." Naruto, angry, entangled Kurama with a black mass and absorbed his chakra once more, leaving him near death. "Continue disobeying me, and I will punish you for eternity," he spoke. He soon exited the lava dimension itself. Naruto put his turban back after removing them. He rejoiced at the news given to him by Purple Zetsu, manipulating the Hokage to stop the investigation concerning missing civilians. Naruto was pleased by the outcome of his plans. As soon as he arrived at the Hokage Tower, Sasuke and Sakura were already there, except for Kakashi. "Damn, he's late once again," Sasuke said annoyingly. As he saw Naruto, he couldn't help but feel envious to the boy, defeating Kakashi in a single multi-shadow clone technique, unaware of the whole truth beyond the event. Fool, since when did you get this smart? Naruto stared at him, and he smirked. It's not for you to know. Sasuke glared at him angrily, and Sakura was a little scared by Naruto's attitude. Ever since graduating from the academy, he has changed. Naruto, what happened to you? Who were your parents? Why do you hate them? What are you hiding? She thought. A few moments later, Team 8 arrived. Oh Naruto, long time no see, Kiba said. Same to you too, Kiba. You look ugly as always, Naruto replied. What? Kiba said angrily. Enough the both of you, Kurenai intervened. By the way, have you seen Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked. Kurenai's mood darkened and she replied. He was peeping at the women's bathhouse. Luckily, I wasn't there. If I were to see him peeping on me, I swear I'll beat him up into a bloody pulp. So, he would peep then go here? This is an embarrassment, Sasuke said annoyed. Naruto smirked. The command has been embedded into Kakashi's brain that even though he hasn't hypnotized him this day, it became an addiction at his part. Hinata was blushing at the sight of Naruto. Naruto knew from the very beginning that this girl has feelings for him, yet he doesn't mind them. He hates the Hyugas. And he saw Shino, always silent. According from Purple Zetsu, Shino is solitary in nature, stoic, and mysterious. That's why he's decided that he would be instrumental to their plan. Shino, how's your day? Naruto asked cheerfully. Nothing special. You. Good. Shino, I would like to talk to you alone. Is it okay? Why? You'll see, he replied. Kurenai-sensei, could we talk somewhere? It seems that your conversation would be very important. I'll give you time. Don't just take too long, she replied. Yes, sensei. Let's go, Naruto said while grabbing Shino's wrist. What's up with them? Sakura said wondering. Naruto and Shino were now alone. So what is it that you want to talk about? Shino asked curiously. It's not like you who would talk privately. You really did change. People do change, Shino, Naruto replied smirking. So what is it? Naruto didn't answer. Shino just stared at him. If you don't have anything to say, I'll go now, he said while turning his back at Naruto. Naruto simply smirked. Before Shino could react, a purple mass entered his mouth, suffocating him. Shino and Naruto then returned at the Hokage Tower. I give you my thanks, Naruto, he said. No worries. Well then, let us be friends, Naruto smiled cheerfully. Shino nodded in response. Oh my, Naruto has become friends with the weirdo, Sakura thought. Well, then we will leave, Kurenai said. Not long after Team 8 left, Team 10 arrived. Ino and Sakura were glaring at each other, whereas Shikamaru looked at Naruto. Being a genius, he noticed that there was something wrong with his co-dead last. Naruto, how are you? He asked. I'm good, probably better, that Shino and I share the same hobbies, especially with insects. Choji has choked by Naruto's statement, whereas Ino's eyes widened with shock similar to Shikamaru, Sasuke, and Sakura. Insects are gross, Ino exclaimed. By the way, what did you talk about? Sasuke asked. Just insects. And by the way, they're not gross. Naruto, did you hit your head or something? Sakura asked. He didn't answer. Instead, he averted his gaze at her and looked towards Asuma. Is Kakashi here? Asuma asked. I bet he was peeping in the women's bathhouse again, Ino said. We'll be going inside now. Take care, Asuma said. With that, Team 10 left. Team 7 were the only ones left waiting for their sensei. Naruto left the duo because he was annoyed that he would deal with these pests. Naruto, where are you going? Sakura exclaimed. Somewhere fun, was the reply. Geez, Sakura sighed. Then Naruto came to her and whispered, Don't you want to be alone with Sasuke? I always leave the two of you when Kakashi-sensei is not around, so you could develop your feelings with each other. Besides, I don't want to be a distraction. Naruto immediately left, leaving Sakura blushing. At last, Naruto was now alone. These days, he doesn't want to be around anyone, except for his family, of course. He missed Tonari, Fuka, Sora, and the others. Knowing that Kakashi would be late for 3 hours, he seized this opportunity and flew into their hideout, situated in Yuzushiyogakure. As he arrived, he saw Sora and Sumeru playing cards with each other. "Byakuya, what brings you here?" Sora asked. "I missed you all, and of course I came to check if you're okay." Same with Sumeru. "Thanks to you and Temujin, we were healed. You were there too, right?" "Yes, and I've absorbed the meteorite's chakra." "So, where is it now?" Sumeru asked. "Destroyed, and no one will know about it. By the way, where are Tonari and the others?" Tonari was sleeping right now, whereas Fuka, Kimimaro, and Temujin went somewhere to gather recently dead ninjas, Sora replied. "I see. I'll sleep today. I'll be back in Konoha after a few hours," he said. As Naruto entered his room, he thought back to the event where he was alone with Shino. Flashback. As the purple mass entered Shino's mouth, he was suffocating. The last thing he saw was Naruto smirking darkly, and he said, choking, "Wah, what have you done?" Those were the last words of Shino before he was fully taken over by Purple Zetsu. Chapter 14. Worthless Missions Gone. Naruto woke up after sleeping for 2 hours. Preparing himself to go back to Konoha, he thought that he would visit Kurama for a while. Using his Yamatsu Hirasaka, he transported himself to his lava dimension. "Kyubi, you've decided to cooperate with me?" Naruto asked. "I must admit that your plan is ambitious, but I do not understand why you would do these things that you can even solve the problem itself given by your immense power," Kurama replied. "One reason that I would not finish anything quickly. I want them to suffer in the most tortuous way possible. And besides, the more you do everything slowly, the more your plan would go into success. I have plenty of years to think for perfect solutions that would make them not suspicious for me. By the way, why did you attack Konoha?" "A masked man controlled me using his Mangekyo Sharingan. Knowing that the seal on your mother's womb would weaken upon your birth, he seized the opportunity to release me and control me." "Who is the masked man?" "I don't know. And he has the same potency of the Sharingan with that man." "That man?" Naruto asked suspiciously. "Uchiha Madara." Hearing this, he freed Kurama into his chains. "I want you to investigate who that man is," Naruto ordered. "Oomph, that is the first thing I'm going to do. Now, let me out and I will investigate. Be careful, and also, do not be reckless. I will make you immune to Genjutsu by imbuing you some of my powers. In doing so, you would not risk yourself getting captured." Konoha. Arriving back at the Hokage Tower, Kakashi hasn't arrived. Naruto went near Sakura and asked, "So, how's everything with Sasuke?" Upon hearing this, she blushed. Attempting to hit him with her fist, Naruto evaded the attack. A few minutes later, Kakashi arrived. "You're late again," Sakura said. "Yeah, sorry my alarm clock broke and I overslept." "Or maybe you're just peeping," Sasuke interrupted. "I'm not peeping," Kakashi shouted. "I don't have habits like these before. What's happening to me?" he thought. "Anyway, let's go ahead and execute our first mission." After getting their mission scroll, each was given a headset by Kakashi to communicate with each other. They had difficulty finding the cat, whereas Naruto would sit down and relax, as he didn't want to participate in this worthless mission. He wanted ones that are difficult and exciting in nature. He saw some flying insects and a thought came into his head. He commanded them to help him find the cat, and following the insects, he saw the cat resting towards a roof. "Get it." The insects did what they were told. They surrounded Tora and carried it off to Naruto. As Naruto held Tora, it was moving, wanting to be free from Naruto's grasp. Soon, he was spotted by his team. "Naruto, hold Tora properly. You'll end up hurting her," Sakura said. "This cat is notorious for harming Jinin along the way. That's why I've decided to hold it on its tail." Team 7 went off their separate ways after returning the cat to its owner. As Naruto was walking, he saw Shino in a distance. "Any news?" he asked. "I've been spying on some of the conversations of the Aburame clan, yet all of the conversations they had are all just about insects," he replied. "What kind of insects?" "Mainly the Baikochu. Those insects were widely used by the clan during the Second Shinobi World War, but they've become endangered. That's why the clan has left them in forests where humans aren't there. You want me to get those insects?" "No need, Purple Zetsu. or otherwise, Shino. You can leave now. Yes, my lord. Zetsu soon disappeared from his sight. Naruto looked at the sky and thought, my dear sweet revenge, I can't wait for it to happen. A month passed, and Naruto was continuing training himself in the use of his Sharingan. He can use all respective dojutsus, yet he opted for his Sharingan because it's powerful and is only unique to him. A purple mass went inside his room inside his apartment, forming into the shape of Shino, and said, an old man from Wave is requesting a C-rank mission for some Konoha ninjas to escort him back on his way home. Interested? Escort an old man? If there were enemies, then it will be much more exciting, Naruto said, smirking. I suspect that there will be fights, my lord. Tell me, will you manipulate the third Hokage? Not for now. I'll convince him with my words. And besides, this would be a great opportunity to know the limits of what they call copy ninja Kakashi. Shino, do not let yourself be caught by your teammates. Shino just nodded and he left. The next morning, he went his way to the Hokage Tower and he was greeted by Sakura. So, another mission, huh? Do you think we opt for one that gives us some challenge? Yes, and considering it, it would be an opportunity to hone our skills further. That would be great. I think Kakashi-sensei would not let us do this thing. He will, Naruto said calmly. A few moments passed. Kakashi arrived. Yo, ready for your next mission? We are, Sasuke replied. Kakashi-sensei, I've been thinking this for a few days already. When would we get missions that are a bit exciting compared to those worthless missions? I really hate them, Naruto said, annoyed. Kakashi thought about what Naruto said for a moment and finally convinced said, then, we should try out our first C-ranked mission. Inside the Hokage Tower. Team 7, you have come for another mission. I heard that Tora Cat escaped once again. GG, I think we should not do that worthless mission again. Why don't you just give us another challenging mission? One that does not involve cleaning, farming, or catching cats, Naruto said angrily. Give respect, Naruto, Kakashi said. Hiruzen just sighed. Never did he think that the son of the fourth Hokage would be more disrespectful than before and has an incredibly short fuse. Kakashi, are you sure that these students of yours could handle a C-ranked mission even it's just for a month? The Hokage asked. Yes, and these kids sure have talents, he replied. The door opened, revealing an old man with a bottle of sake in his hand. This is Tazuna, a bridge builder from Wave. He is here for an escort back to his home so that he may complete the bridge, the Hokage introduced. Looking at the old man, he thought that there was something suspicious, and he would confirm this upon going to the mission itself. Chapter 15, to Wave. Ready now? Kakashi asked. Yes, all three answered. As Team 7 and Tazuna walked down the road, Naruto's head began to fly. He's confident that all of his subordinates, especially Purple Zetsu, were doing their job perfectly well. However, the thing that worries him is the masked man who controlled the Kyuubi and attacked Konoha. Who is he? Where did he come from? What are his motives? Even though the masked man is the one behind of the Kyuubi's attack in Konoha, he couldn't help but feel hatred towards his parents for sealing the Kyuubi inside him, hatred towards Hiruzen for making him like a fool, not telling the truth, and hatred for all the villagers in Konoha for mistreating him, except for the ones serving him food in Ichiraku. Naruto pulled out a notebook from his bag and began to write codes that only he and his subordinates would understand. He muttered a word, and all of the codes began to scatter in random directions to where his subordinates were located. To his delight, none of them saw what he had done. As they passed by two puddles, Naruto began to grow suspicious. While Sasuke and Sakura ignored it, Kakashi seemed also to focus on it. After they passed the two puddles, two figures suddenly leapt out. They wore bladed gauntlets with shuriken chains between them, wrapping Kakashi, only for it to poof, a wooden log on its place. Fire release. Great fireball technique. Sasuke blew fire towards the two ninjas, to which they easily dodged. Sasuke continued to fight the one-horned one using taijutsu, while Naruto fought the other one. Sakura helped Sasuke by throwing some explosive kunai towards the one-horned ninja, yet he easily deflected. Multi-shadow clone jutsu, Naruto said while doing the hand sign, but only in pretense. As the clones charged towards his enemy, they were defeated by the ninja. How's that? It doesn't work against me. You are a worthless fool. Then he laughed. I must kill the old man now. Naruto was about to get angry, yet he managed to control himself. He doesn't want to waste his chakra to fight this weakling. As he was evading the attack of the ninja, the gauntlet tore his turban apart, revealing his extremely long hair reaching to his midcalf. You what? Before the ninja would ask about his Rinne Sharingan, he extended his hair, constricting the ninja until he fell out of consciousness. As Sasuke and Sakura defeated the other ninja, he used his forehead protector to wrap it quickly around his forehead to avoid them seeing his third eye. Kakashi went out of the bushes and said, "Good job. You've exceeded my expectations," and he stopped talking when he saw Naruto with an extremely long hair. "Naruto, is that you?" he asked. Sakura and Sasuke turned to Naruto and were astounded by his extremely long hair. "Since when did your hair get this long? Is this the reason why you wrap your head with a turban?" Sasuke asked. "I don't want my hair to be damaged, but it seems the ninja has cut off my turban, thereby revealing my hair. Anyway, don't tell this to anyone else. They'll tease me," he replied. "Either way, you three put out my fears aside. Now, tie up these two and I'll send one of my summons to inform the village. Now, Tazuna, I would like to have a word with you." Tazuna, sweating a bit, reluctantly followed Kakashi into the forest. The three waited for the two to finish until they went out the forest. "So, what's the story?" Sasuke asked. Apparently, Tazuna is building a bridge to connect Wave to the mainland. The problem is that a shipping magnate named Gato has a stranglehold on the country and does not want the bridge built. Otherwise, he loses his hold over the country. He uses his company as a front for smuggling illegal goods and drug dealing, and the bridge would ruin. That's so he has hired missing means to kill Tazuna, he explained. Naruto smirked at the statement. "So, I could be able to dance more effectively." "Naruto, don't make jokes at this time," Sakura said, annoyed. "As for now, this mission has become B-ranked, if not A-ranked, considering that there would be stronger ninja that would be in our way." "I was right after all. Suspicions confirmed. There are a lot of stronger enemies ahead. This is going to be more fun," Naruto thought, smiling devilishly. Tazuna then told his story about his father and his fatherless grandchild. As the story continues, Naruto didn't listen, instead smiling to himself that he would have a chance to fight other strong ninjas as well. "We are going to complete this mission. After all, we can't just let that Gato do what he wants," Kakashi said. They once again began to walk. Time runs by quickly that it was already sunset. When night came, Kakashi decides to make camp and decided to leave early in the morning. Everything has been set, and they sat down around the campfire. Naruto hates this, as he doesn't want to sleep with several people. He preferred to sleep alone in one of his dimensions. Naruto looked at the sky, and once his plans would be finished, he would fulfill his lifelong ambition. He was cut off by Sakura when she asked, "Naruto, you've completely changed. Did something happen?" Naruto turned to her and said, "I am no longer that dead last you knew. Sakura, people change." He stood up and walked to a forest. "Naruto, where are you going?" Kakashi asked. "I would like to sleep alone, Kakashi-sensei," he said calmly. "I won't allow you, because my team's safety is in my hands." "Don't worry, I can handle anything." Before Kakashi could stop him, he disappeared. Alone once again, he used Yamatsu Hirasaka and transported himself to his paradise dimension, where there are beaches and the sun shone brightly. There were forests that lead up to a castle. Naruto lied down on the sand, enjoying the cool breeze of the wind, drifting himself into sleep. Chapter 16, Revealed Abilities. Naruto slept for a few hours in his paradise dimension. Before anyone would wake up, he used Yamatsu Hirasaka to exit the dimension, and it was entirely dawn when he returned. He waited for several moments, then some codes appeared from his subordinates, a message that they successfully built another fortress at Hashigakure, their another hideout. Pleased by these results, he smiled and wrote another set of codes which flew off going to his subordinates, telling them now's the right time to execute one of their plans. Morning came. He went back to the camp. Seeing everyone awake, Kakashi asked him, "How was your sleep, specifically that you're alone?" "I slept marvelously. The cold wind brushing my skin lulled me to sleep, The silence of the night and the absence of people made it all better, he replied, smiling. Let's get to the mission now. Several minutes later, they were now riding a boat, and he could see that the mist is extremely thick, not to mention highly dangerous and also quite advantageous at the same time, considering the mist can be used as a hiding place for ninjas who don't want to be seen when tracking someone. Smirking at the idea, he could feel that there are people coming towards them. How did Gato get so rich, by the way? Sakura asked, breaking the silence. Perhaps he inherited it, Kakashi replied. I doubt so. Maybe he got it through corruption and some assassinations, Naruto said. He's a poor excuse for a human being, says Tazuna. Considering that fact, he may have hired missing Nins, and that's what makes this mission dangerous. Missing Nins are commonly S-ranked, and they are not to be underestimated, Kakashi said. A few minutes have passed. The boat stopped by at the bank of the river. Good luck stopping the moron, says the rower. And then he rows away. Now that we are here, guard Tazuna, ordered Kakashi. The three nodded. As they were walking, Naruto thought back at Kurama. He was sure that one day this bijou would betray him. That's why he sent a coded message to his subordinates never to trust this individual. At least, they have two hideouts for now, yet one was temporary, to which is Yuzushio. Hashigakure is a stable hideout where they would let Tonari rule as the Hashikage, while Naruto himself was the true power behind the position. They will use the village itself as a prison for captured people, civilians, or ninjas alike. This place would also serve as one of his subordinates' homes for their benefit. Sensing something, he threw a kunai at the bushes. A cry of an animal could be heard before the kunai was embedded into the tree. Everyone was shocked as to what Naruto did. Looking to where he threw the kunai, they saw that the kunai was embedded into a white rabbit. Naruto, why did you kill the rabbit? Poor animal, Sakura exclaimed. Rabbits aren't supposed to be white. It's in the middle of spring, Naruto replied. Get down, Kakashi shouted. As they got down, a massive sword flew out of nowhere, spinning like a boomerang and embedding itself on a nearby tree. Copy Ninja Kakashi, as expected. No wonder why the demon brothers lost. Momochi Zabuza, demon of the hidden mist. Then Naruto looks at Zabuza. So you're the one I sensed earlier. I'm stronger than you and I can defeat you easily, but if an opportunity presents itself today, I'll be glad to eat you up, he thought while smirking. As much as I would like to fight you, I'm only here for the old man, Zabuza said. Protect Tazuna and stay out of the way. He's out of your league, Kakashi shouted. As badly as Naruto wanted to fight Zabuza, he decided to follow Kakashi's plans and try to think a strategy that would make him show a few of his abilities in order to protect the worthless old man, the way he puts it. As they were about to fight, Kakashi raised his forehead protector, to which revealed a closed eye, and he opened eye, revealing a Sharingan underneath. Sasuke and Sakura were shocked to see Kakashi having a Sharingan in one of his eyes. Zabuza readied himself, and faster than the normal eye could catch, he grabs his sword and removes it from the tree. Soon, the mist grew thicker and thicker. Hearing Kakashi's voice, it said, "Be careful. Zabuza is a master of the silent killing technique," he warned. Then another voice was heard. 8 points: larynx, spine, lungs, liver, jugular, subclavian artery, kidneys, heart. Now which will be my killing point? As Zabuza finished his statement, Naruto couldn't hold it any longer. They were astounded when he laughed, and he laughed with tears falling down from his eyes. Naruto, Kakashi muttered. What are you laughing at, kid? There's nothing funny at all, Zabuza said angrily. Naruto calmed down a bit and stared at Zabuza, smirking darkly. I couldn't help it, Zabuza. You're really an interesting person after all. It makes me want to dance with you. Naruto, are you insane? This man is strong. What has gotten in your mind, and why do you want to fight him? Sasuke shouted. He's right, Zabuza replied. I guess I'll just kill you then. Suddenly, a humanoid shape made of water appeared at Naruto's back, attempting to kill him with a sword made of water. Die, the clone shouted. Before Naruto was to be sliced by the sword, a kunai landed on the figure, to which it turned back into water. It was Kakashi who saved Naruto. As Kakashi destroyed the Zabuza clone, the real Zabuza appeared behind him and attacked him, only for it to be dodged by Kakashi's kunai. Zabuza did some hand seals and said, "Water prison technique." All of Team 7 was trapped inside an orb of water to which they can't breathe. Sakura and Sasuke couldn't breathe while Naruto calmed down. As Kakashi was about to free anyone else from the jutsu, he saw a pair of hands appear from nowhere, grabbing Zabuza at his neck and slamming him into the ground. As Zabuza stood up, he asked, "What was that?" Kakashi then freed anyone from Zabuza's jutsu, and he was shocked when Naruto was nowhere to be seen. "Where's Naruto?" Kakashi asked. "He was just here with us," Sakura replied. "Sasuke, have you seen him?" "No." "What did you do, Kakashi?" Zabuza asked. "Do what?" "A pair of hands strangled me." As he finished his statement, a space opened behind him, to whom Team 7 were surprised, including Tazuna, to where the upper torso of Naruto emerged and strangled Zabuza. Zabuza looked behind him, and his eyes widened with surprise as Naruto's lower half was in the rift of space, while he managed to strangle him with half of his body. As he prepares to swing his sword towards Naruto, Naruto retreated back inside the rift, and it closed, leaving Zabuza and the rest surprised. A rift opened beside Sasuke, and Naruto came out, completely unscathed. "What? What was that?" Zabuza asked. "A space-time ninjutsu, yet an advanced version. Where did he learn it?" Kakashi thought. Sasuke looked at Naruto with jealousy as he clenched his fists in anger. "How did he get this strong?" "Yamatsu Hirasaka, the ancestor of all space-time ninjutsu," he said, grinning. "You forced me to use the technique because you've impressed me a lot. As a present, I'm going to impress you as well." Before Zabuza attacks, Naruto constricted him with his hair. Chapter 17, Questions and Lies. As Naruto was constricting Zabuza with his hair, Kakashi took the opportunity and attacked with the water release, Great Waterfall technique, a technique he copied earlier from Zabuza when the latter attempted to use it, leaving Zabuza defeated. Naruto let go of his hold at Zabuza and he was dropped onto the ground. "I didn't expect that you have tricks up your sleeve," Kakashi said. "Where did you learn it?" "Not telling you," he replied. As Kakashi was about to kill Zabuza, a hunter nin appeared and threw 2 needles at Zabuza's neck, killing him. "Who are you?" Sasuke asked. "I'm going to take his body away and destroy it. Anyways, sorry for the trouble." He then took Zabuza's body away and disappeared quickly. As the duo disappeared, Kakashi said, "Now Zabuza's dead, let's head back to Tazuna's home." As they were walking towards Tazuna's house, everyone was silent, considering the events that took place, including signs of Naruto's behavior that he's a bit twisted and has techniques that are highly impossible for a Genin to handle. As they walked, Kakashi asked, "Naruto, according to the information given to me by the 3rd Hokage, you are a hyperactive kid and is an idiot. But the one I've seen earlier is a different Naruto, quite a tactician. Now tell me, was the dead last kid a facade?" Naruto didn't answer and made the other 3 looked at him. He then replied, "Sakura and Shikamaru asked me several times why did I change. Well, to put it simply, people do change. I've gone through several troubles throughout my life, and that made me grow up this way." "What are you trying to say?" Kakashi asked suspiciously. "Let's say Mizuki-sensei revealed something to me, and that made me snapped. That's all. Asked Irika-sensei about it, he knows. I don't want to elaborate the details. Just elaborating makes me bring some sort of bad memories." "Fine then." Once they made it into the house, a crying woman hugged Tazuna. "I'm so glad you're alive, father," she said. "Thank you so much for him. I'm Tsunami, by the way, his daughter," she introduced. "I'll prepare dinner for all of you." As they were sitting on a table, Kakashi was bombarded with several questions that he himself wants to know. Having met Naruto, he has experienced habits that he did not do a long time ago, such as peeping in women's bath or having memory lapses. He was also surprised that Naruto has a space-time ninjutsu. Well, his father, Minato Namikaze, has one and is called the Flying Thunder God technique. Yet Naruto's technique was extremely advanced and it takes a lot of chakra to open. As the food was served and they were eating, Kakashi suddenly asked, "Naruto, if you don't mind, could you tell me more about this space-time ninjutsu of yours?" Naruto stared at him and smirked. "And why do you want to know more about it? Don't tell me you're interested." "According to you, that space-time ninjutsu of yours is the ancestor of all space-time ninjutsu. Is it true? Yes, and I won't tell any more about it. If you were to ask where I learned it, I just trained and I was surprised that I could open rifts in space. Yes, it really taxes my chakra reserves, and I rarely use it except in life or death situations, he lied. Very well. As they finished eating, everybody slept, except for Naruto, who was left awake lying on his bed. He went out and looked at the stars in the night skies. Sensing some movement behind him, he turned and it was Shino. "What are you doing here?" he asked. "You'll be caught if you just randomly appear wherever I am." "Don't worry, my lord. Everyone was sound asleep, including the Aburame clan. You've chosen the right vessel for me, my lord, as everyone was not suspicious as I disappear from time to time," he replied. "So, any news about Kurama?" "Not yet, but I have some interesting news to you. I've been seeking another place where we could establish another hideout, and guess what? I found an interesting place. It's called the Land of the Demons." Land of the Demons? Why such a name? There lived a priestess in a shrine named Moroku who sealed a demon named Moryu. Its soul was sealed in a shrine located there and its body in the land of the swamps. She died after sealing it. Naruto smirked and stood up. "Shino, tell me, is this so-called demon powerful?" "Yes, my lord. A descendant of the clan that follows Moryu named Yomi wants to revive the demon to complete its 1,000-year kingdom together with his ghost army. He could release the demon if the stars were right." "Oh, I'll send my avatar to the place. And before I go, I have also another interesting piece of information for you." "What is it?" "The daughter of Moroku, Cheyenne, has a powerful ability. Like her mother, she could seal demons, but her greatest ability is the ability to predict the future itself, thus knowing when will she die. If she was about to die, her ability gives a warning to her past self, and her past self would have someone die in her place. Quite an ability, isn't it?" Naruto's eyes widened with surprise, and he said, "Shino, I want the power myself. I shall do this quickly." Before she could predict that I would come for her eyes, Naruto glowed with a white hue and another one stood in his place, albeit with a short black hair and has brownish eyes without the Rinne Sharingan on his forehead, wearing a white kimono with cherry blossom designs, and has a white hakama, wearing black boots on to compensate the attire. "Is this your avatar?" Shino asked. "Yes, and I'm Mitsui, the avatar of Byakuya. I will claim this power for myself." Mitsui flew going to the land of the demons, making sure that after getting Cheyenne and Moryu's power, will come back to Naruto's body himself. Morning came and Naruto now was sitting on the table as Tsunami is preparing food. He forced himself not to smirk so that he won't be mistaken as a psychotic person. Suddenly, a young child came into the table. As he sat down, Naruto observed the boy. He considered making the boy as his subordinate, yet he merely shrugged the thought into his mind. Tazuna introduced the boy to everyone that it was his grandson Inari, and Naruto seemed to not care about the child. He continued to eye the boy, and suddenly the boy said, "What are you looking at?" "Don't be rude, Inari," Tsunami scolded. My, don't worry. I just find the child so cute," Naruto stated. "Thank you," Inari replied. "To be honest, the child is as ugly as hell. To be added, weak, too," he thought. As they were eating, Inari pushed his place and quickly went upstairs. "Is he all right?" Sakura asked. "He has gone through a lot of problems for one as a young child," Tazuna answered. "What happened to him?" Sasuke asked. Tazuna told them how Inari's father was killed by Gato's men. It sounded like his death would stomp out hope for the Wave Country. As Naruto heard the story, he is really eager to recruit this young boy, yet he is eager to think of the consequences if he ever be his subordinate. He has known many betrayals of subordinates towards their leaders, that why he was careful when he adopts someone into the new Otsutsuki. Soon he came into a decision. He would not recruit the child because he doesn't have the potential to be a ruthless murderer. "I'll just go out for a while." Naruto asked for permission, and everyone simply nodded. As soon as he got out, he walked near a field of flowers. Putting his index finger towards his head, details came into his mind that Mitsui, his avatar, has done practically well, becoming a guard of the priestess Cheyenne. increasing further his agenda of absorbing Shine's ability to predict the future and also get near of Moryu's shrine in the land of the demons. With this ability of predicting the future, it was a great step to execute his plans. As he was walking, he saw a feminine figure in a distance, wearing an elaborate kimono and carrying a basket. "Who are you?" Naruto asked. "I should be the one asking you that," the person answered. "My name is Haku, what's yours?" "Uzumaki Naruto," he smiled. He carefully looked at Haku, and Haku also stared at him. Is something wrong? Are you a man or a woman?" Haku burst out laughing and he replied, "I'm a man." "Really? You look more like a woman to me," Naruto stated. "Well, that's what most people say." As he was picking some flowers, Naruto looked towards the flowers he has gathered. They were plants used to cure wounds, and Naruto immediately presumed that this one is a ninja. He's a bit familiar. Where did I see him again? Naruto thought. You're not from here, aren't you? Yes, and I only follow one man who is precious to me, he replied. So what kind of person is he? Stern but a bit secretive. I see. So Naruto, do you have anyone precious to you? Naruto's eyes widened with surprise at his statement, and he replied, I do have. I don't have a lot of friends, but these friends of mine were incredibly precious to me. Not only precious, but more precious than any other thing in this world, aside from power. I literally view them as my family because I know they'll never betray me. Considering his answer, he was sure that his subordinates would never betray him because they're following his orders absolutely. Not only that, he gave them last names, except for Tonari, as he was an Otsutsuki himself. As the patriarch of the new Otsutsuki clan, he made it sure that his clan members would never be captured at any costs, and he would rescue them when it comes to trouble. When a person has something important to protect, that's when they can become truly strong, Haku smiled. Naruto nods, and for the first time, he smiled, and this smile of his was genuine. I like your principle, Haku. I hope you are a potential family member. Family member? Nothing, never mind. They continued to talk to each other, and as the day slowly sets, Haku left. Naruto smiled and concluded that Haku was the one who killed Zabuza, and he would do everything to protect this man. If he would make these ninjas his subordinates, he was sure that these ninjas would become extremely loyal to him. He stood up and went back on his way to Tezuna's house. Chapter 18, Land of Eternal Night. Mitsui has infiltrated the priestess's home perfectly. Posing as one of her guards, he observed the woman in her room, and he could tell that this woman is extremely powerful yet weak because she hasn't been taught ninjutsu by any of her guards. Plus, she is pompous, spoiled and pampered throughout her whole life, and that made her apathetic to anyone else. She also complains in the slightest of things, to which Mitsui made him hate this woman more. As night descends, he carefully went to the place where the shrine Moryu was sealed. He may not have the Rinne Sharingan, but he could cast Yamatsu Hirasaka using his willpower alone, as he was a part of Naruto's power all along. He used Yamatsu Hirasaka and opened a dimension where the stars were right and did the ritual on how to release Moryu. As he was doing the ritual, Yomi and his gang of 4 were secretly watching in a distance. As the demon was released, Moryu asked Mitsui, You're not a part of the clan that once worshipped me a long time ago. Tell me, who are you? My name is Mitsui. Tell me, do you have plans of becoming my subordinate? I will grant you more power if you agree with my plans. I have no plans of becoming a subordinate of yours. I was here simply to use your power for myself alone, he smirked. Hearing this, Yomi and the gang of 4 appeared in Mitsui's front. I would not allow you to do that, Yomi shouted. He bowed down to Moryu and said, You could use my body as a vessel for now. After we execute this man, we will execute Cheyenne so that she would no longer seal you again. Moryu nodded, and he possessed Yomi. Kill them, Moryu ordered, now possessing Yomi's body. As the gang of 4 attacked Mitsui, he easily evaded each attack. Never doing any hand seals, he extended his hand, and a burst of fire appeared, roasting the 4, thereby killing them. Cheyenne woke up that night, receiving a vision that someone has freed Moryu. One of Cheyenne's servants came into her room. Is there anything wrong, Lady Cheyenne? With trembling voice, she said, I want to go to the shrine where Moryu was kept. One of my guards freed him. The servant nodded, and they quickly prepared to transport Cheyenne into the shrine itself. Flashback. Are you one of my new guards? Yes, Lady Cheyenne, and my name is Mitsui. Pleased to serve you, my lady, he then bowed. You know what to do, she stated. Mitsui left, and Cheyenne was suspicious of this man. There is a heavy feeling that has been resonating inside her, that this man would bring doom upon her. As she was riding the palanquin, she muttered, I was right after all. After meeting him, he was so suspicious. I didn't expect that he would execute this upon our first meeting. Yomi and Mitsui were panting heavily. I didn't expect that you were so good, considering for a mere mortal like you, Moryu in Yomi's body said. Thanks for the compliment. You, too. I didn't know that you were this strong. The two then continued to exchange a flurry of punches and kicks. Mitsui attacked Moryu with a lightning attack, only for it to stop and to be countered towards him, which Mitsui forced to dodge. Damn, I couldn't use Yamatsu Hirasaka because I'm only an avatar. If my real body was here, I could defeat this man easily, he thought. Giving up? Moryu asked, his voice said mockingly. Don't be arrogant, demon. You're just lucky that my real body isn't here. But even in this form of mine, I could still defeat you. The fight hasn't even begun yet, he smirked. I like you, kid. I'm not sure if this would work. I could only cast Yamatsu Hirasaka thrice a day, and this is my third cast. I'm going to gamble on this 1 inch. What are you planning to do now? Mitsui just smirked, and he muttered, Yamatsu Hirasaka. As Cheyenne was being transported to the shrine, the ground shook, leaving her palanquin being dropped on the ground. Lady Cheyenne, are you okay? Her guard asked. Instead of answering the guard's question, she said, I sense an enormous amount of power from the temple. Meanwhile, with Moryu. What are you doing, kid? He asked frantically. The ground was shaking ferociously and boulders from mountains came falling down. Suddenly, the land of demons were nowhere to be found and was transported somewhere else. After finishing the deed, Mitsui was panting heavily. The shaking of the ground stopped, and Moryu asked, Do you think you could defeat me with such a deed? Instead, Mitsui just laughed and replied, Do you think it is for defeating you? I just transported the land of the demons outside the 5 great shinobi countries. Now, we're in the vast ocean in an unknown location. With Cheyenne. What is this? She asked, her eyes widened with shock. She saw in a distance waves crashing against the shore. There is no sea in the land of the demons. How? Wait, Lady Cheyenne, her servants shouted. She didn't listen and instead ran going to the temple where Moryu was kept. What is this enormous power I felt? Mitsui, what are you planning to do? With Moryu. Such feat, you transported an entire land in a vast ocean outside of the elemental countries. You transported the entire land using your space-time ninjutsu, isn't it? Yes, Mitsui replied while panting heavily. Seems you're out of chakra. I want your body. That way, I could become more powerful, he grinned. Several hours passed, and everyone was asleep. Naruto felt that his avatar was in danger. Sneaking outside the window, he teleported himself going to the land of demons. He was determined to save his manifested chakra after all. At the shrine, Cheyenne was surprised at Mitsui and Moryu fighting each other. Mitsui, what are your intentions? She screamed. Lady Cheyenne, even we just met today. I want your powers for myself, including that of Moryu's. Oh, the one who could seal me away? Looks like a 3-way fight. How amusing, Moryu chuckled. There will be no 3-way fights. They were surprised when Naruto suddenly arrived. Mitsui then stood up and came near Naruto, to which he became a ball of chakra and went inside Naruto's body. Who are you? Cheyenne asked. Where's Mitsui? What did you do to him? Mitsui and I are the same. I don't have time anymore. I want to finish this fight as quickly as possible. You won't finish the fight, Mitsui, Moryu stated. I will. Naruto grinned darkly. And by the way, not Mitsui, Byakuya. Naruto removed his forehead protector, and he flew upwards going to the sky. Moryu levitated and followed Naruto. Brat, You're not running away from me, Moryu shouted. Naruto remained calm and opened a dimension using Yamatsu Hirasaka to where a sky with the red moon from Naruto's paradise dimension was transported into the skies above the land of demons. Shine upon this land, infinite Tsukuyami. The red moon glowed into a white light to where Moryu suddenly couldn't move, including Shine, with their eyes turning into Rinnegan as an effect that they were being affected by the Jinjutsu. I can't move, Shine muttered. I can't move. What have you done, brat? Moryu shouted. Naruto smirked and roots grew out from nowhere, entangling those living in the land of demons. They were wrapped by tree-like appendages, and Moryu was caught by it. Before Moryu's soul could escape Yomi's body, Naruto used his black mass to absorb his soul directly and fuse it into his own. As he absorbed Moryu's soul, glowing purple lines appeared on various parts of his body. As Yomi's body was wrapped with tree-like appendages, Naruto descended to the ground. He then saw Cheyenne in a distance, slowly being wrapped by the appendages. Cheyenne looked at him and said while being wrapped by appendages, what are you? After finishing her statement, she was completely wrapped, and her wrapped body was hung on the branches of the trees together with other people. With your powers and Moryu's power, I shall make this land my personal hideout, and I shall call this land as the Land of Eternal Night, Naruto said. Chapter 19. Knowing the Avatar. With the purple lines disappearing from his body after absorbing Moryu's soul, Naruto looked up to the roots of the trees that bound the entire population of the Land of the Demons, now Land of Eternal Night. He has casted the infinite Tsukuyami on the populace of the Land of Demons, and his infinite Tsukuyami is special as he could cast this on selected individuals which would not endanger the world. This was one of his plans, to erase the entirety of the people's population in the Land of Demons just to gain a brand new set of powers and some land to be his own personal fortress, not to mention the land of the dead. As the moon he teleported from one of his dimensions illuminates the whole area, the animals of the land were also affected by the Jinjutsu. Deciding to dispel it, he used Yamatsu Hirasaka to teleport back the moon he used for the infant Tsukuyami in his paradise dimension, thus dispelling the light. Yet all of the inhabitants were still bound by the appendages of the trees. He absorbed all of the life forces of the inhabitants, including Cheyenne's, and an array of powerful abilities were added to his own. Truly enough, Cheyenne has incredible powers, to which he could use to empower himself. After absorbing each of the inhabitants' life forces, Naruto decided to stay in the area for a meantime. Rearranging the structure of the trees that bound the inhabitants, he decided to put the roots underground and make the trees a bit normal in appearance. Exploring further, he destroyed the houses of the former people one by one. After destroying each, he returned to his true form and began altering the structure of the land from his very liking. Using his powers, he grew flowers that are sinister in appearance. He grew black and gold roses around. He also grew trees that have leaves as dark as the night and purple cherry blossoms around. He then went to the place where Cheyenne lives. Destroying her former home, he created a castle emblazoned with gold gargoyles on its walls and a fountain that makes the whole appearance otherworldly. He then surrounded his new home with high walls and palace gates. He then decorated the interior of his castle with red carpets and a golden throne with several gems. He went from room to room, decorating it with his very own liking. He got out of his palace and flew across the land, altering the surrounding plants, turning them into volatile ones that would devour any creature that would attempt to invade his home. Outside the shrine where Moryu was former sealed, he altered the structure, making it a place where he and his subordinates would train if they have time. As he finished altering every structure of the land of the demons is not recognizable. Any outsider who would step into the island would marvel in its beauty, as if they stepped into another world. Naruto laid out plans that no one would suspect why the land of the demons disappeared without a trace. Flying across the entire ocean, he noted that his avatar teleported the place extremely far from the elemental countries, making it safe from any would-be attackers, and finding the place would be impossible as the place where the former land of the demons was teleported was filled with storms and shrouding mists, and ninjas cannot walk on the water, they'll just submerge. Naruto smirked at the idea of this, and as he flew, he suppressed his chakra, thus returning to Naruto form, with his hair up to his midcalf and returning again his whisker marks. Putting again his forehead protector on his forehead, he realized that he has a few hours left for sleep, as it is now 1 in the morning, and decided to use Yamatsu Hirasaka to quickly teleport back in wave. Before doing so, he manifested Mitsui again, his avatar, to create another land of the demons so that no one would suspect why the land suddenly disappeared, only to suspect that the entire population were massacred. He made sure that Mitsui would get some corpses from their hideout that he deemed not usable and made them dress in the locals' attire, altering their faces slightly to make sure they're not remembered. He made sure to leave false evidences to put the blame on somebody else. Setting all of these plans in motion, he quickly returned to Wave. As he was now in Wave, he slept under a tree. Looking at his clock, it was 2:23 in the morning and decided to sleep fast. Hokage-sama, I received a report concerning about the land of the demons, a random umbu stated. It's still early in the morning. What is it? Hiruzen replied, while drinking coffee. Merchants from our village who usually trade in the land reported that the entire inhabitants of the land of the demons were entirely massacred. Young children were of no exception. Upon hearing this, the mug of coffee he held on his hand dropped into the floor. Do you know who did it? Hiruzen asked worriedly. Unfortunately, we haven't found any evidences, the umbu stated. First, the missing civilians, now this. Hiruzen put his hand on his head. I want more umbu to be sent into the place. Find any evidences that killed the innocent people and what the motive is. Yes, Hokage-sama. The umbu left and Hiruzen was left alone, contemplating his thoughts about the strange incidents that took place. What in the world was happening? Yes, the kidnapping of civilians have stopped, but now, a massacre outside the Land of Fire. Who does these things? Are they connected? He thought. Yuzushio hideout. I have some interesting news to you people, Sora said. What news? Kimimaro asked. I was at Konoha a while ago and I sneaked into the 3rd Hokage's office to get some information about Root. I was nearly caught, but luckily, I used my hallucination powers to hide myself. As Hiruzen was drinking coffee, an umbu reported that the entire population of the land of the demons was massacred. So what does that news have to do with us? Fuka asked. Well, I just feel that Byakuya is behind it. And how could it help his goal then, slaughtering those people? Except if there's another source of power that might catch his interest, Temujin explained. You're right about that, a voice intervened. They turned to look to where the voice came from, and it was from Naruto's avatar, Mitsui. Tonari readied himself to attack. Who are you? Tonari, don't worry. I'm an avatar of Byakuya, and I came back to check on you people. You could call me Mitsui. Avatar? Sumeru asked. Avatar, another manifestation of an individual. It is different from clones as clones could easily vanish and the transfer of information happens when the clones disappear. However, an avatar is a manifestation of a particular individual in another place. To put it simply, it allows an individual to visit another place and gather information whereas the other one does a different thing. In other words, you could do different things and gather information at the same time. Unlike clones, we avatars do not vanish when hit in a slight manner. We function similar to real humans, however we only vanish if we're out of chakra, he explained. So, you're saying that you're a manifestation of Byakuya-sama? Kimimaro asked suspiciously. Yes. Mitsui then explained how Naruto sent him to get unusable corpses here in their hideout and put those in Land of the Demons. He also explained everything what happened. By the way, I'm going to return to Byakuya's body. I just explained everything that happened. Anyway, another reason I'm here is to give these Jello stones I've created using the powers of the Jello vein. Put this inside your bodies, except for Temujin because he has one. This could make you immortal and live past your natural lifespan, he explained. He handed the stones to his subordinates, each embedding the stones inside their own bodies. As Mitsui vanished, Sora broke the silence. Byakuya really has no qualms sacrificing other people just to make himself more powerful. Are you saying that Byakuya-sama would sacrifice us? Kimimaro asked. No, Kimimaro. I'm just saying that he doesn't care what happens to other people just to make himself more powerful. But he cares for us, and I don't care what other people would say to him. I'll follow him till the end, Sora replied. Me too. He saved me from my loneliness, and here I am, much more powerful than before. My existence is not for naught because of him, Kimimaro said. Chapter 20, Symptoms. Gato's Den. Zabuza looks bored waiting for Gato while Haku was just sitting beside him, thinking their plan on how they would kill Tazuna. Soon, the door opens revealing a short, stout man. When will you kill the bridge builder? It's been over a week already, and you haven't done anything. He shouted. Humph, Gato. Do you think I will listen to you if not for the money? I didn't expect that one of the ninjas that guard Tazuna would have special abilities, Zabuza replied in a menacing tone. Gato glares at Zabuza disappointedly. You have until tomorrow. If you can't make it, I'll go find someone who would easily do the job, Gato said angrily. Zabuza put his sword near Gato's next. My safety is in risk here. I demand more money from you, Zabuza stated. Gato looks at him angrily with fear in his eyes. The two bodyguards of Gato then stop Zabuza. I will give you more money provided that you kill that old man successfully, he retorted. Then, he left with his bodyguards. Tomorrow, huh? Haku said. Zabuza just nodded. As Gato was now away from Zabuza, he said, the two of you, I want you to kidnap the old man's family. He will be forced to negotiate with us. Why send us if Zabuza could kill the bridge builder? One of his guards asked. Considering the situation, it would be easier to get rid of Zabuza. From the beginning, I just hired him to finish the man, but now he's threatening me, that's why I would want to see him die. I have no reason to waste money for him, Gato replied. Why should you care about? The bodyguard was trailed off when Gato intervened. Don't disobey me. I pay you good enough. Just do the job, and you'll get a decent amount of money, or more than that. The two guards nodded and they left. Zabuza, I can't wait to see you die, Gato muttered, chuckling. It was night again, and Naruto would always sleep alone in the woods or in his own land. Ever since he absorbed Morio's soul, he started to act differently. Yes, he has become much wiser, more intelligent, more cunning, more sinister, and gaining much power. He acknowledged that Morio's soul was indeed too powerful to handle. Kakashi would ask him if he's all right, and he'll always say yes. However, deep inside, his head would ache terribly and would wake up from terrible nightmares. Shine's power also had a profound effect on him. Out of the blue, he would be surrounded in a pinkish glow, and his eyes would have Shine's dojutsu in it for random moments. Maybe this was the consequence of absorbing too much power. He has also absorbed the sealed powers of Moroku and Shine's bell, and he could feel that the priestess powers and Morio's powers were fighting inside him, giving him terrible spasms randomly. Today, he noticed that glowing purple lines would appear from his body, even he was not using Morio's power. And today, he sought to control it. He closed his eyes and glowing purple lines appeared. He lightly tapped the ground, and it cracked. Morio's soul gave him tremendous physical strength, yet the headache is there again. Returning to his true form doesn't help the situation. The pain would still remain, making him faint. This time, he exited Morio mode and collapsed in the ground, panting heavily. He looked to the stars and wondered if he could finish everything quickly. Closing his eyes, he fell into a deep sleep. A young Naruto was running from a group of villagers. Go away, demon, they shouted. Please stop, please, he pleaded. Yet, they didn't listen. They took delight beating him and stabbing him with their knives. Soon the entire scenery changed. It was Sora who was stabbing him, including all of his subordinates. Die, Byakuya, die, they shouted in unison. Stop! Stop! Naruto woke up with a sweat. It was now morning, and trying to steady himself, he relaxed for a moment, hoping to get the unwanted dream off his mind. Morio's soul is extremely dark and corrupt, but at the same time extremely powerful. Shine's power, on the other hand, is filled with light and purity. The two powers frequently fought inside me. I need to train with this effectively, he muttered to himself. He got up to himself and went back to Tazuna's house. Thankfully enough, Kakashi wasn't being too suspicious on him, yet he couldn't help with his other teammates. As soon as Naruto was inside Tazuna's house, he ran into Inari. Do you have any cigarettes here? He asked. Do you smoke? The young child countered the question. Isn't it obvious? I want cigarettes now, Naruto snapped. Where is it? There. Inari pointed at the direction of Tezuna's room. Naruto went there and take out all the cigarettes, putting them inside his pocket. Sasuke then saw him anxious, and out of curiosity he asked, Naruto, something the problem? No, was the brief reply. I'll go out for a meantime. I need to take my mind off from stress. He then hurriedly went outside. Grabbing a cigarette from his pocket, he lit it up using fire from his fingertips. Putting it inside his mouth, he thought that minors aren't supposed to take cigarettes. Asuma smokes, Tezuna smokes. What's the problem if I smoke, too? It's not I'm going to die from just a simple cigarette, he said as he took the cigarette outside his mouth and blew smoke. I didn't expect that cigarettes were these good. It could help me relieve my nightmares for a meantime. As he finished the first cigarette, he lighted another two and put those into his mouth, feeling addictive to the feeling of smoking. I don't care what they say, this is my ninja way, Naruto chuckled.